Elvira knocked the camera over. Thank you, Elvira. So if you were with us and choose to rejoin us, that's cool. If not, I hope you have a good weekend. We're getting in a groove. Somebody said something about Halloween 5, and I missed it. Yeah, so if you rejoin us, we'll continue on from where we were. Yeah, you know what you did. All right, we got somebody back in here. Sorry about that, guys, for anybody or gals, whoever joins us. The lovely thing, a lot that it didn't crash. No, that was Angela. Uh, how's the pizza script? I have not. Gonna be honest with you, Anthony. I don't know if I'm gonna get back to the pizza script anytime soon. I lost interest in it, and if I don't want to do something, it's very hard for me to kind of get reignited with it, you know? Do you see the universe of the Funky Pop game is going to be going into? No, I've never really been a Funko Pop guy, so I've never really. I think the only ones I have is like my ex, the redhead, gave me this one, and Gerald, who's a follower of ours, gave me this one for my birthday. So they're the only Funko Pops that I have. That was the ghost of Bray Wyatt. Yeah, to get back, no plans this weekend. I work on Halloween 5 Part 2 with 5 introduced the direct. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I'd be all down for expanding on the. I mean, I'd be more down on expanding on the Cult of Thorn outside of Haddonfield. I think would be kind of interesting. I'm gonna be at Free Comic Book Day tomorrow. That's cool. How's it going, Newt? I'm all right. Got home from work, shaved, reached out to some people. Nobody responded, so I said, "Fuck it. I'm gonna stream for a little bit." Did you see the reviews for Unfrosted? I heard it's terrible. He's the lost brother of Michael. Oh, okay, that would be interesting actually. Instead of it being the dad from Dharma and Greg in Part 6, and then Loomis becoming the new Man in Black in the producer's cut. Yeah, I mean, again, it would be interesting to see that lore continued. I would have loved to have seen the direction they would have taken had, Daniel Harris's character become the new Shape. Just the same as seeing Tommy Jarvis become the new, Jason, but it's a direction not taken. No plans. Let me know if you want to work on something. I'm always working on something new, man. It's always going to be a matter of just figuring out how to make the money work. I have two guys right now who have scripts of mine to read and see if they want to do anything. But I'm also Daniel. Well, no, I mean, not. I'm not talking about you. It wouldn't be her, obviously. But I think the idea of Jamie as the Shape, as like the concept of people believing that Jamie is the Shape, and it could lead to copycat killers, or it could lead into the general idea of whatever darkness took over Michael Myers has taken over other people out there as well, and I think that would be kind of cool. That was my idea for how to expand the Halloween, how to reboot Halloween, was to do it sort of like Mindhunter. Favorite Corey Feldman movie? Probably Goonies. Probably go with Goonies on that one. But I love Gremlins. I love Stand By Me. I watch License to Drive. That'd be kind of cool. I do love The Burbs, Tony L. The Burbs is one of my top 20 favorite movies ever, ever. If you haven't seen my How to Reboot Halloween idea video, I think it's called Renewt or something like that. I tried a couple of them for a while, but they didn't really take off. Dream Little Dream Part 2. They did make a sequel. I never saw the sequel. Um, a Terrordome series. That'd be kind of cool. Everybody always kind of I don't know. Everybody always just shits on that one, but I've always liked it. Uh, it's awful. Dream a Little Dream too. Well, I assume so. It just seems like one of those movies you would see on like Showtime. Make a house movie. None of it's connected. Favorite Corey Feldman song? Oh, geez, you're putting me on. I really like the one where he goes on live TV and he makes an asshole of himself. Oh wait, that's every one of them. All right, I could see that. I think like I don't know. I'd love to see them move away from Michael in general and just explore the idea of whatever that darkness is. Uh, Obviously, I know because it wouldn't be as big a departure from Halloween 3, like as Halloween 3, where you would still be dealing with the same idea of everything that Loomis said, but in other people and in other places. Um, I don't know and not in like the Corey Cunningham kind of way. I mean, probably. Did you do a Lisa Frankenstein review? Yes, Lana, Dave, and I did a Lisa Frankenstein review when it came out because we had to drive 2 states over to see it. Write a movie about a killer obsessed with making raisin bread. It's the yeast of your problems. Um, I mean, they're doing an air fryer killer movie, so why not? You know? Yeah, I have my floater script out with one guy. One guy read my Krampus script and said it's really, really good, but it would be too expensive to do it. So he's like, "What could we do cheaper?" So I sent him my Kung Fu Bikini Dinosaur Planet script, which is sort of like Velocipaster or like a USA Up All Night kind of movie. Intentionally, guys in cheap masks and stuff like that. But I did a second draft where I replaced all the dinosaurs with sharks and rewrote the dialogue. But I feel like the dialogue doesn't work as well, or the title doesn't work as well. A sequel to Three from Hell. Yeah, Three from Hell. I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that one. I do. I remember Go For It. Um, well, I think that's kind of what they were looking to do with Halloween 6 by having, was it Danny kind of take on the Michael vibe a little bit with his hot redheaded mom. Um, like I could see them expanding upon that idea of the cult. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of Michael Myers did out right now. The same basic flow of everything over and over again. Um, and now we're getting into this age now where it seems to be a lot of exorcism movies and stuff like that. So and in like 18 days, if you're in the States, you'll be able to get Shark Exorcist 2, which I worked on. That'll be out through Wild Eye Releasing. I don't know. I'm in this like weird malaise of. I went and saw Alien on the big screen the other night. Since nobody else cares about it as I do, Halloween 5 can be yeah. No, I agree. I like. I it would be kind of cool because obviously following your social media now, I would love to see you put together like a whole outline for it. And even like even if you could get some storyboards together or something like that, I think that'd be really fucking cool. Because again, there are people who love Halloween 5, but you're the one who loves it the most. I bet you could get some really good online buzz by creating. It's like the people who created the sequel comic book to the Super Mario Brothers movie in 1993. Those guys got a ton of buzz for a while online, which I think given that you love it and you know it inside and out, and that you have such an affinity for it, I feel like that passion would speak for for that Riddick versus Michael Myers. Yeah, that'd be. I mean, did they? How many of those have they made? Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick. I think there was two more. I know I've only seen the first two. But I remember when the other ones were out. Pitch Black's a good movie too. I really like Pitch Black. But I went and saw Alien last night on the big screen. I saw Fall Guy the day before. Three movies and one anime. Okay, all right. There was an anime then. Yeah, I knew this girl who like really, really liked those movies, but she also really, really liked the Fast and the Furious movies. So obviously we weren't gonna. Her movie taste and my movie taste were very different. Yeah. So what the fuck is everybody up to on this Friday night? No matter where you are on this big, big old planet of ours. I worked. I had a job interview, another job interview today. Plus, I worked. I went on the job interview on my lunch break. Oh man, I'm so sorry. Sorry that you lost somebody today, man. I I know very much what that's like, so I commiserate with you. I've seen the extra movies. Yes, there's a great interview with the director. I saw the interview where he's like, none of this made any sense. It was just something cool. Um, Making breakfast for you and the missus. All right. Yeah, I really liked the first extra movie. Um, After that, they have no connection. The third one I think was with Michael, not Michael Ironside, but stop myself from pissing on my boss's desk. That's good. That's good. Um, yeah, I was offered two jobs this week. So I think I'm gonna wind up leaving where I'm at right now and take those two. Saturday morning here. You are from the future. Yes, you are. I want to make the Myers house the hybrid of the seven. Yeah, I saw your post online. Elvira, if you knock that over, I may have to kill you in front of all these people. You got your influenza shot. Yep, and you're coming to Philly. We're gonna do some stuff together in person. Hold on, I'm gonna grab this. And I could see that working too from the pictures that you posted. Um, I could see putting those two together into a hybrid would be kind of neat. And again, because people have less interest in that one, not again, that's your thing, man. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but like because people have less interest in it, you do have more freedom to kind of create and take certain liberties with it. It's not like the sanctity of the first one or something like that. Newt's greatest movie is Phantom of the Paradise kills Michael Myers. I don't think Swan has a chance against Michael Myers. Maybe like Swan versus John Carpenter, since they're both musicians, we could do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when you come out here in August and we can shoot some stuff. Did I ever check out the Fallout series? No, not yet. People said Newt's going full Silence of the Lambs. In which way? There's several characters in that. I'm like the nerds who know a lot about moths. I think that would be my closest to that movie. But yeah, no, it's been a long day. It's been a long week already. A lot of running around and stuff like that. So I don't wanted to. I don't know. I got no plans anymore. I just want to be making fucking movies, man. How's the new job? K1, it's going. I definitely think that I regret not taking the colonial job. I think that one's ever always gonna haunt me for not taking that job because I thought I needed to get out of theaters, and it turned out that that was probably the perfect position for me at this time. But two other manager jobs have fallen into my lap. Was made an offer for both of them. So I put in my 2 weeks notice with K1, and I'm moving on from there, which is good too. And I'm not going to tell people where I'm working anymore because we did have calls already, obviously from that Reddit group and stuff like that. So, you know, so I'm gonna go on and do something different. It's gonna take up a lot of my time, but I'm gonna have more money, and hopefully that will lead to being able to back to the movie business. Nope, nope. I wish, but no. I think I would only be able to survive at like an indie if I could do like cool, weird shit and artsy stuff. I'm not cut out for the corporate stuff anymore. Too old. And I genuinely don't have any interest in that. So, yes, it is. Yep, yeah. It was my first and second week there. There was shit. So, did I watch The Pizza Man yet? Nope, no. I haven't really watched anything. Like I said, I went and saw Alien last night because I went to go meet up with a friend. I had some of her stuff to give her back. So I met up with her last night and we saw Alien on the big screen. And then the night before that, I got invited to a early presser for the Fall Guy on Wednesday night. So I went and saw that just so I could do a review for it. I don't know. Maybe I'll go see Phantom Menace tomorrow. I asked Melissa what she was up to see if she wants to hang out. So I don't know. I wanna shoot some more stuff, but we'll see. Yeah, it's crazy. Again, I might have to do a video only because it was my first time. Well, no, I guess I can't do a video about Phantom Menace because I shot the documentary which talks about the Phantom Menace thing. So I'll watch it soon. I will. I've been like so out of the loop when it comes to stuff. I haven't really been paying attention to anything. By the time I'm all settled in and stuff, I tend to fall right asleep. Um, yeah, but I will get to it. I promise. You know where to find it. Yep, yep. Mummy 20th anniversary. Yeah, that one was last night at the King of Prussia theater. There was actually way more people in Mummy than there were in Alien. There was like 20 people, and I think we had like 6 in Alien last night. The most wholesome sight is a napping newt. No, I thrash in my sleep. Melissa is hot. Whoa. Damn. Ever heard of Daddy 05? No, is that like Grinder? A stabbing incident though, that's crazy. That's not a knife. This is a knife. And you're like, oh fuck, that dude got stabbed. Yeah, everything's nuts anymore. Everywhere, everything. That's why I don't mind just being here with the cat, because, you know, he has a YouTube. He's a YouTuber. Okay, I'll look him up. Are you gonna watch? Yes, I love the Planet of the Apes movies, with the exception of the Tim Burton one, obviously. But I'm that and Furiosa are the two movies that I'm really really looking forward to. That was a spoon. Ah, oh, see, you played Knifey Spoony before. Oh, here's a question for Australia. Is it true you guys don't have red Solo cups? I was watching a thing with Margot Robbie, and she said that they don't have them in Australia, and I was like, that's crazy. I should start importing them to Australia and become rich in Australian dollars. Dollar a dues. Whoa. I don't sound like that. Sure you don't, mate. Burger King is Hungry Jack in Australia. Nope, only... Oh, yellow would be kind of cool. Doesn't work as well with the song. Temtams are delicious, yes. What do you mean? Except the Tim Burton one, the best movie ever made. Yeah, I remember that movie came out my senior year in high school, and I was so fucking excited for the Monkey movie, and it's when I had just been able to like, I was a manager for like that winter, spring, and then we're going into the summer. And I was finally like allowed to run things on my own, like after hours and stuff like that. And I invited like a whole bunch of my high school friends, and we were all just like, "Oh, but we get to hang out after hours at the movie theater." But oh man, it was bad. I did like Abraham Lincoln though. Opinions on Friday the 13th Part 3. I personally think it could have been better. Yes, but I love the disco theme. Do I like Jeff Beck? Yes, I like Jeff Beck. Super excited. It was a bit. I still have the soda cup from the theater. I think I have. I might have one of the action figures somewhere. I think it was the Michael Clark Duncan one. I might still have that somewhere. And I just remember seeing at the end that like it was basically the exact ending to the ending was the same as a piece of Chasing Dogma, the Kevin Smith comic book, which is supposed to bridge the gap between uh, um, you know Chasing Amy and Dogma. Yeah, it's in the title. Can you tell that I'm not with it today, Cat? Uh, but yeah. I don't know what's going on anymore, guys. But yeah, no, all the other Planet of the Apes movies I absolutely love. I love Beneath the Planet of the Apes and Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, all that stuff. So yeah, what happened at the end of Bongo the Killer Crown? I didn't even bother to finish it. I think they killed the clown. I don't remember. I haven't been to the movies since the Twilight Bat. Wow, you missed a lot then. You didn't see Oppenheimer or Barbie or any of that stuff, like all those big movies. I'm kind of hoping Fall Guy winds up becoming like a big hit like that this year because it's definitely worth it. That was a fun one. Yeah, okay, you still have it. I have what do I have? I have Batman Returns. I have the Star Wars Burger King cups. I have Last Action Hero cup from Burger King. Um, yeah, it was McDonald's Batman cup, Burger King Last Action Hero cup, Burger King Star Wars glasses. Um, what else do I have? I have one of the Godzilla cups as well from the Matthew Broderick one. I used to have way more shit, but I've either lost it when I moved, or threw it away, or left it at the set for the old show. He was no like in real life he was though. Um, he was gay. What's wrong with the world? Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other big. Well, Furiosa is coming up. That's got Australia written all over it. Yeah, I never had the Batman Returns cups. Those glass ones. I never had any of the Disney ones or anything like that. I used to up until like maybe a year or two ago. I still had a couple of the. Oh, okay. I remember the Shrek cups as well. Um, I had the Taco Bell Batman cup from '89, and I have no idea whatever happened to that one. But I don't remember what happens at the end of Bongo the Killer Clown. I remember, I think they kill the clown. I don't remember, honestly. As soon as I'm not in it anymore, I lost interest in it. They don't do cool shit like that anymore, though. Um, I know that when we were doing Midnight Show originally, we had Enter the Cream Pie, as all good things should, you know? Lots of repetitive dialogue. Yeah, I mean, just from being on my scenes, I would come up with something and say something, and then we'd be rolling, 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 and she's like, okay, now say this again. And I'm like, where does this fit in the context of the movie? And I don't even think she knew. So I just said whatever I was told to say. I don't care for the Hemsworth family. Oh, really? He looks good in this though. I like the idea of him doing more like character actor stuff. Someone's house, yeah, somebody in North Jersey's house. That's basically what that movie was. It was supposed to be the asylum, and then there was like another that big empty mansion house that the Ukrainian chick gets killed in. That was a house that was for sale that like she just went and filmed in illegally, apparently, from what she told me. So I don't know. I looked her up the other day to see if she was still online. She's not online anymore, so I can't get any of these answers for you. I should post some of the pictures if I can find them from that other movie I did, but it never got done. The one from episode one. That'll be in. Yeah, I mean that will be in fashion again this weekend, May the 4th. Actually, well, yeah, because tonight, no, tomorrow the Colonial Theater is showing Rogue One. I was thinking about going to that. And then tonight, the Emmaus Theater, which is up by the old studio space, they're doing Dawn of the Dead. But I'm like, I'm not driving 2 hours to go see a movie I could watch right here if nobody's going with me. It's not fun to go see this stuff alone. I used to do that a lot. It's just drive from, I lived in New Jersey at the time, and it was like, oh, I'll drive to Delaware, I'll drive to New York, I'll drive to Philly, whatever. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Yeah, Young Indiana Jones ones. I don't remember them doing a. Claustrophobia was made before Bongo. Yeah, um, I don't think she learned anything from movie to movie. I don't remember Young Indiana Jones ones. I don't remember Indiana Jones getting much. Much tie-in stuff. He was young Hercules. Yes, he was. My favorite Bruce Lee movie. I gotta go easy. I gotta go Enter the Dragon. I feel like that was kind of him, like full display of everything that he was good at. Was there in that one. But I love Fist of Fury and Big Boss and stuff like that. The 10 minutes of the Game of Death that you get. Could have been. How much fun was the Anthony Wayne in the summer? Um, the main line in PA is very wealthy. Most people go away on vacation. So the summer, if it's not raining or like some huge movie is out, it tends to not be particularly busy. So we were able to have a good time. I genuinely enjoyed the days where it was slower and you just kind of were hanging out with the staff and crazy shit would happen. There were definitely days that felt like Clerks or days that felt like Empire Records when I was working there. To be fair, it worked for her though. Can you say hello to Anna, my wife? Hello, Anna. How are you tonight? How is your how are you this morning? Because you guys live in the future in the upside down. So hello, Anna. But yeah, no, there was definitely those days where it felt kind of surreal and fun. And on Fourth of July, we used to go up on the roof and watch the fireworks. Oh yeah, the Kevin Smith video will be coming up. I had shot it for the Patreon, put it up there first, and then scheduled it to release. Normally, worked for her as in like it worked for her as in like she made money off of them. She got a distribution for both movies. I don't know how good the distribution was, but they got. Oh well, I hope you have a good day, Anna. In the morning there for you guys. uh, hey man, she's made more movies than I have. They might not be good, but she still made them. Um, I want to do something other than Swamp Zombies too. I want to have something other than that to show. But if any of you are in the Philly, Jersey area and get to Delaware, we're going to be showing a bunch of my stuff at the Theater N in Delaware on the 18th, which is a Saturday. I'll be there. Will Keenan will be there. And we'll be showing Amityville versus the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls and stuff like that. Well, no, it looked like dog shit, and it was clearly shot. You're in Delaware? Well, then you need to come. Well, yeah, that's not even saying anything, Horn Dog. Ever thought about doing music videos? Yeah, I've done. I was location manager and worked on the Andrew WK It's Time to Party video. I've helped out on other people's videos over the years. It's not something that I was as passionate about as as something like making movies and stuff like that, and just writing gets to be boring, and I'm not really crazy about doing it right now. I wanna be out there making shit and casting people and putting people to work. Like my ultimate goal has always been just to make stuff with my friends. Oh yeah, we were definitely in the digital era when she was doing that. Take care, man. Make a horror movie about fruit flies. You could do that. They're coming up out of the drains. We used to have to dump bleach down the drains to hmm. It was 2013, yes, and she had access to all that stuff. So it's not like she she was me. She was shooting on a cell phone or stuff like that. She had all the money that she could possibly need. Um, Great way to stay. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I've been so stuck in my ways that I need to eventually break out. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is 40 years old. Yes, it is. Hold on. There's somebody banging on my door. I will be right back. I'm back. What did I miss? Hold on. Who swatted Newt? Let me see. Let's see. It's me banging on your door. Let me have my private time. Who swatted Newt? Girl Scout cookies. Newt got robbed. All right, I'm back. So no. So across the street from me, is a couple different businesses. There's like a tattoo shop and like a pot shop and there's like a little parking lot. And in the building that's there, it's an old building. There's like a deli and stuff like that. Well, apparently the other day, some old lady like backed through that place. So the police were asking me if I had like door camera footage. So I just got the guys the info, and I'm gonna send him what I have. But I don't think that my camera gets over there. So we'll see. But yeah, it was the police, policia. Um, yeah, I saw the building though, and I was wondering when I got home from work, like what the fuck happened, and because it was like bad, and yeah, apparently some old lady backed her car through the deli. Um, yeah. So nothing too exciting, but I'm back. I thank you guys for sitting and watching an empty chair for a couple minutes. Chat. Is it true that movie theater popcorn can be bought at the grocery store? I'm not sure. Pet shop, pot shop, weeds legal there. Yes, it is. I don't know. I never. Oh, what's going on, Race? You just missed it. I was just called away for a couple minutes because the police were knocking on my door about an old lady, who apparently backed her car through the deli across the street. Um, Race has been texting back and forth. Sorry, I've been missing your stuff. Um, been kind of hectic of late. But yeah, weed is legal. You can get a card in Pennsylvania and in Jersey. I don't smoke. I only smoke when people offer me, you know. Yeah, really. You should watch Carlito's Way with Mets. I don't know. Has Mets ever? I'm trying to remember if Mets had ever seen that one before. Because we've definitely talked about Carlito's Way before. Um, we were talking about like gangster movies and mob movies and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how my day's going so far. So I thought that it was somebody knocking next door, but it was apparently my door. Opinions on Family Guy. I haven't seen it in a long, long time. I remember really liking it when it first started. I probably haven't seen it since like 2009, maybe. So I don't really. I liked American Dad. I thought that one was kind of funny. Now I can hear him outside talking uh, to other people. Was John Travolta good as Gotti? That movie's awful. Everybody keeps saying that I look like that dude, and I was like, I don't see it. That guy's been in a million things now. He's in Dune. He's in Prisoners. He's in The Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises is my least favorite Batman movie. It's getting re-released in theaters. I won't be going to see that one. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I will go see Phantom Menace. Maybe I'll do a Phantom Menace review. 25 years later with hindsight, you know. Are you that character? Yes, I am. It's the hair, the nose, and the facial framing in general. Okay. Yeah, I with the Mr. Jacko thing, he wanted like she's like do like the Joker, and I was like, okay, there you go. Old people heist movie, that'd be awesome. Like, you ever see the Cloud Atlas, where like the old people like plan like to escape from the senior grounds that they're on, and Hugo Weaving plays like an older lady because everyone in that movie gender and race swapped throughout the whole movie. But, it never a fucking dull moment on this street, man. There's always something going on, be it good or bad, mostly bad or loud. So with the new jobs, uh, I'm hoping to relocate again, get the hell out of this area. I only moved here to be closer to the theater. I bet you make Goodwill suits look classy. I don't know. I've never gotten a Goodwill suit. I don't even think I have like shirts and ties. I don't have any suits anymore. No, that's not true. I have like the vampire one that Fallon gave me as a gift, which is very hard to wear anywhere because it's very flamboyant. I like the jacket though, the red like velvety jacket. It's got like a very Nick Cage vibe to it. Like I feel very cagey when I wear it. I wore it to the Triple Xmas premiere, and I wore it when we were guests at the that vampire ball thing. Um, so yeah, he did it. Yeah, I remember Fred. Fred was popular around the time of like the Angry Orange was he called, and like the Smosh guys. I remember the Smosh guys. We had to we had to stop a video we were doing because they beat us to it. We when uh, Up All Night to Get Lucky was popular. We had done Up All Night to Get Loki when the first Avengers movie came out, and I remember I got the redhead a Black Widow outfit, and then we had to kill the entire thing. Were you a big Fred fan? No, I can honestly say I'd never seen his videos. I just know that in back when we were doing Underbelly, was kind of the tail end of the Fred days. And I remember YouTube when we went to the New York YouTube offices, they had like Fred pictures up on things. That's really the only reason I even knew who that was. Um, I don't know. I didn't. There's not a lot of YouTubers, even back then or now, even less fucking now. When I actually met people that I like ever cared to watch. Like I always thought like people like JonTron were fucking assholes, and it turned out he was. But I don't know. And other people, there were people who I knew who were YouTubers back before we got started. People who I knew who were YouTubers who I knew in real life before they were YouTubers who just turned out to not be good people. So yeah, I was never can't say I was ever much of a Fred guy. JonTron made a lot of Goosebumps reviews. Yeah, JonTron and I got into a huge fight in a barcade in Philly. What's your thoughts on the 1935 movie Triumph of the Will? Yeah, no. A, I've never seen it. B, I don't think I need to see it. We'll do like Triumph of the Will Ferrell. We could do that. They taught that movie like it's like Birth of a Nation, stuff like that. Like I've seen Birth of a Nation, but I remember being taught those films in college at film school, like about them and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, I understand their significance, but I'm good. I'll stick to Fred and Ray movies, thank you. Or I'll watch Terminator 2 again. It was no, it wasn't even that. It was just him being a dick. Uh, without going too much into detail, Underbelly, the show I was on, was falling apart, and one member of that show, of my show, and his roommate were gonna start another show, a show that like last name Mania is what we'll call that one. And that friend of mine got drunk at Barcade and basically was trying to sell JonTron on this idea and be cool, um, and kind of treated me like I was a piece of shit and not worth anything and all that, which I mean he's done in real life since then. Monster Mania, no, the guy's last name and then Mania is the name of the show. Um, but yeah, so I'm trying to get my friend to like chill, dude, you know. And JonTron was given like the "Who are you? Nobody fucking knows who you are. Why are you here at my table?" kind of thing. So we got into a big argument about that, and all I knew about him was his bird. That's the only thing I'd seen of him. So I was like, "Yeah, and your bird's fucking stupid," and that like triggered him and just led to like a thing. And then myself, my girlfriend at the time, who was my former best friend's sister, we all went out on the curb and yeah. Attack of the 60-fold centerfold's great. No one insults the bird. Well, I insulted the bird because he was, you know, who are you? What the fuck you doing here? And I'm like, who the fuck are you, dude? You're just another fat neckbeard, you know? There's the YouTube is literally packed with them. Advice to a guy who wants to be. Let's see that. Advice to guys who want to get with a girl they're crushing on but too scared to talk to them. You kind of like the bird. That's fine. I don't know the dudes. I don't know. I'm not a video game guy. So I didn't know who he was. I didn't and anything like that. But all I knew was from when we would be editing at that former friend's house and stuff like that. They'd have other YouTubers on, and I'd say, "Wait, I know this guy. He's always got a bird on his shoulder." So that was my go-to. My advice, if you want to talk to a girl who you have a crush on, I don't know, be cool about it. Just, you know, if you clearly know her enough to have similar interests, you know, just fucking, you know, be yourself and see where it goes from there. But don't be timid. You know, fortune favors the bold. But also don't be too overbearing. It's always a fine line to walk, you know, and you know, go speak with confidence. I'm an ugly fuck. I'm 5 foot nothing, and you know, so you guys have seen some of the women that I've been with over the years, so you know, so I have a massive cock, but that's beside the point, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen the bird. Nothing against the bird. I'm not going to. I was wrong in putting down the bird, but that night I was just so pissed off because my friend had never treated me that way before. So yeah, Bikini Frankenstein or Bikini Jones in the Temple of Eros. Oh boy, that's. I personally prefer Bikini Frankenstein only because that's one of the greatest titles ever. I think the Dark Universe will ever make a comeback. No. I think that Universal will probably do its best to avoid any comparisons to the Dark Universe. But you know, you had Abigail, you had Demeter, which I didn't like. You know what a flurf is? No. What is a flurf? Is that like a smurf or a snork? I'm so bad on lingo. My friend's daughter in comments will like say stuff like that, and I have to look it up because I'm a sad old man, you know. But there's been a lot of Dracula movies late, so I'm hoping, and there's going to be a Frankenstein movie coming up with Maggie Gyllenhaal's doing. So I hope we're entering a new age of gods and monsters. Have you ever seen a real snuff film? Well, yeah. Like, do you remember? A flurf is a mock name for a flat earther. Oh, okay. I found out someone I work for has a very close relative that is a flat earther. And I was just asking them questions, and they don't want to hear it, man. They're living their best life. So, oh, yeah. So good for them. Flurf sounds like a methed out Smurf. Yeah, right. But yeah, as far as like a real snuff film, like everybody I think has seen like gore videos. Do you remember when like there was like those beheading videos and shit like that, like after 9/11? So yeah, like I've never sought that shit out myself, but they've been on in my presence. So I mean, that's essentially what snuff is. It's killing someone for the sake of killing them on camera, and that's what those terror videos were and stuff. So not something I'm not huge on real gore. I know Metz likes it. I just give me the fake stuff. Give me silicone and Caro syrup and stuff like that. I'm not my empathy as much as I try to keep it in check and hate people. I genuinely don't like watching people get hurt. I really don't like watching animals get hurt. You know. You don't really need no. You don't need NASA to prove. My buddy Matt's birthday was a snuff film. Whoa, Jesus. There's oh yes, I've heard about that, but I haven't seen it. Flat Earth is round. Yes, you mean spherical. No, this guy doesn't want to hear it. Opinions on NASA. Um, they protect us from space werewolves. I don't know. And the haunted moon. Nassholes. I mean, I've I want to make a sci-fi horror movie. Like, you know, I'm constantly interested in like the early days of NASA or like the Russian space experiments where people didn't come back, so they just like painted them out of pictures. Why do people hate on NASA? I don't know. What's my opinion on the NASA moon landing footage? Um, I don't know. I don't know enough about science. Uh, I have a hard time believing that Stanley Kubrick would have kept his mouth shut if he filmed the moon landing. Um, I don't know. We you know. One of Kubrick's best work. I have a T-shirt. I should get it. Um, I know how to fix things in Russia. Okay. You don't think NASA are assholes? No, somebody gave me a T-shirt that was it's a Stanley Kubrick moon landing crew shirt. It came from a company called Discount Cemetery, and it's a fucking great shirt. I really like it. Um, but yeah, so I have that as a fun thing because I have nods to Kubrick faking the moon landing in two of my scripts. There's a character that appears in a there's a character that either he physically appears or he's spoken about in a couple of my scripts because I always try to make everything fit in like some kind of conjoined world. And he was a guy who was part of the original moon landing, and you know they NASA displaced all the gypsies in Florida, so they put a curse on the first moon landing. So when they came back, because it was the moon and they were cursed, they came back as werewolves. So the werewolves all had to be put in Area 51 to get them out of the way, and then they had to bring in Stanley Kubrick to fake the moon landing so that the Russians didn't get the upper hand, and then these werewolves basically just lived out their life doing like secret operations for the government, kind of like a Hellboy kind of thing. And then where we meet this werewolf in my stories, he's old, so he's bald on top and stuff like that. So, caught you live for a while. You're doing good. Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Um, I don't really care about the Earth shape. You know, I'm a boob guy, so I hope the Earth is round. That'd be awesome. Fucking space and Bigfoot. Hell yeah, man. Space Bigfoot. All the cryptids could be in space. That'd be awesome. The Jersey Devil and fucking Nessie and with the little little dome helmet on giant body. That'd be awesome. You know. I wanted to do one where Bigfoot wins the lottery and it's called cryptocurrency. Cryptid universe, dude. I'd fucking love. I want to make a Jersey Devil movie so bad. All right, good, Race. I'm glad to know that. Yes, it is the. It is still the third here. We're living in the past. Well, it's America, so clearly we're living in the past. Warwick Davis back in space. I'd see that again. Brian Trenchard Smith directed the Leprechaun in Space movie, and he's one of my favorite genre directors. I know the movie's bad, but it's a lot of fucking fun, man. I don't know. I love Jason X and stuff like that. Like, oh, he's gonna go to space. Yeah, who fucking cares? Like, it's fun when there's cheesy sci-fi sets that look like Andromeda or something like that. I don't know. I love that kind of shit. Um, Jason X or oh, I got to Jason X is because it's got a bigger budget. I think it's more there's more production value in it. But again, with Brian Trenchard Smith, there's a lot of fun shit in Leprechaun in Space. Um, there's a lot of fun shit in Leprechaun 2 as well. Monster Squad in space, yeah, it'd be like Space Camp. Yeah, I haven't seen Phantom Menace in probably 20 years. So I think I'm gonna go see it tomorrow in the theater just cause, uh, especially on the big screen. I have all the DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that. I still have, I think, no, I don't have my Phantom Menace VHS anymore. But I never watched it again. Like I watched it twice in the theater when it came out. I watched it on video. I have the DVD, and I haven't watched it in over 20 years. Yoda is a digital now. I like the puppet. I don't know. I really like the puppet. I like his wobbly ears. Um, with that said, Phantom Menace was the only one that kind of felt like a Star Wars movie to me. Whereas, like, it felt like he was trying to make a old-fashioned Hollywood biblical epic as a Star Wars movie. You can see all of the Ben Hur and the Cleopatra and the Ten Commandments parables in that for Lucas. There's a lot of people who really like Attack of the Clones. I like the Geonosis stuff, and I like the Harryhausen esque arena fight stuff. I thought that was kind of neat. Um, but that whole third act, like Yoda shouldn't need to ever pull out a lightsaber. And I think George Lucas knows that, but I think George Lucas is also a smart enough marketing person to go like, that's what these fucking idiots want. Give them that. So, is there any proof that Hornswoggle was in the leprechaun suit in the origins? No, but they marketed it as him, right? I know that I watched Origins with Tony. I think Tony and James, if I'm not mistaken, because that was before COVID. Trying to remember now. Because I was supposed to be in the Leprechaun video on the old channel, and then James said he wanted to do it, so I got bumped out of it. That's why the redhead and I shot that little thing in the beginning, where I poured Irish whiskey into a bowl of Lucky Charms, and it was so fucking disgusting that I started gagging. There was a really funny deleted scene of that that I think he had back on the Patreon or something. Yeah, I saw Warwick Davis's wife passed away, and people were like really worried about him too because he was putting out tweets that seemed like he wasn't gonna. I mean, not okay, but like that he wasn't gonna make it, and people were like really worried. I love Warwick Davis. I've always like felt super connected. Everybody from Star Wars is like that, but super connected to him. Willow, and even the stuff he had done with Ricky Gervais after that, like he just seems like an all around good guy, and was such a part of the fandom, and then got to become part of the fandom. You know, and that's always really really cool to me. Like imagine being a little kid and getting to be a fucking Ewok. You know how crazy would that be? And then I've never seen any. I've only seen one Harry Potter movie, but getting to be part of that, and you know, he's in Solo as well, which I liked Solo, and people kind of shit all over that one. But yeah, you guys sold me. I'm definitely going to see Phantom Menace tomorrow. um, I was you know to shmee or not to shmee. Solo was fun. I wish that everything we knew about Han Solo didn't all happen in one day, but like I fucking love the design of oh god, what is the character's name? Will we possibly get a 25th anniversary review? I can do a review. I can't do my Star Wars story of how I started working at movie theaters and how it relates to Phantom Menace, because I shot a documentary about working in a movie theater, and that's going to be out sometime this summer, and I don't want to spoil anything that's going to be in that, because I think Michael's put in so much work to that it's that's going to be really fucking funny. What is Enfys Nest? That's the character's name in Solo. I love the fucking design of that Enfys Nest character. Um, I think like outside of like since Boba Fett, that's like one of my absolute top five favorite designs to any Star Wars character ever is Enfys Nest. I even bought like the action figure for that one. But I haven't. I know there's like the Bad Batch new one is starting, and there's like another Star Wars show. I'm super behind on all of that stuff. I think the last thing that I watched was what was after Obi-Wan. Um, what? You gonna come knock the camera over again? Yeah, it sounds like you might. What was the one that came after Obi? Oh, Rosario Dawson one. Yeah. Can you hear her? Do you want to come up here and see everybody? No. Yeah. That would have been cool. Yeah, the introduction of that like that's my biggest thing is like the Star Wars shows that avoid Luke Skywalker and the big galactic shit. I like the ones that kind of deal with the gangster shit. I think that's a really cool angle of Star Wars that so rarely gets explored. And then building up Darth Maul more. I'd like that people realize because again, you know, the Clone Wars series and everything. That whole arc of Darth Maul I thought was so fucking cool, and I would have loved to have seen that explored more in live action. What? What do you want? This cat, right? Yeah. Del Toro wants to do a Hut Godfather style movie. That'd be awesome. I know that he had talked about that before. Um, you know, it's like the him and Taika Waititi and all these different people that they had discussed having Star Wars movies. Um, and I would love if they like again, if any of these movie studios would just allow auteurs to make like black, you know, they like do the black label action figures. Like if they did that in movies and just let different filmmakers kind of go crazy in the Star Wars universe and do their own thing, I think that would be really neat. And I think it would also bring a lot of goodwill back to Disney as far as we're not recutting things, we're not micromanaging people, we're just letting people make their art within the corners of these universes that we all know so well. And that was something that Dark Horse Comics did so well for so long. The only thing they do, I got to imagine one day we're just gonna get slammed, and that's fine. I look at race. I'm looking forward to the Mad Max days. You know, I'm not gonna last very long, but at least I'll get to see it. Or I'll wind up becoming like really popular. I'll be like Channing Tatum in This Is the End. I just really enjoy my life now as a sex gimp. But alas, we are asteroid free, and that means I have to go to work. What a day. What a lovely, lovely day. Well, you and I were talking about that the other day. You said I mentioned Fury Road, and you sent me the, the riding shiny and chrome thing. Yeah, Arizona would definitely be the place to go all Mad Maxy. That's something they should do for Furiosa. Mad Maxi pads. What's your favorite parody movie? Um, hmm. Airplane, Naked Gun, Spaceballs. I guess Spaceballs would be number one, probably. Um, it's a good parody movie. The first two scary movies, uh, I don't know. So many of them are so bad. It takes like, oh no, you know what? Best parody movie is Black Dynamite. Black Dynamite's fucking great. You know, I mean not the best, but it's up there. I would say Spaceballs would probably be number one. Yeah, you're right. Because it's such a fine line to walk when you're doing parody, to not become like we were talking on the last stream about like vampires suck or Meet the Spartans or Date Movie or shit like that. Like that's just like that's not jokes. That's just references. Phantom of the Paradise is the best parody. Phantom of the Paradise, not a parody, but that's an homage movie. Because it does lean so heavily into its source material, and creates an amalgam, sort of in the same way that like Rocky Horror Picture Show is that same type of thing, where it exists within a universe that's been established by all of the things that shaped it. Airplane's great. The first Airplane's absolutely fantastic, and so insanely quotable as well. As long as it doesn't insist on itself, like Godfather. That's why I prefer the Money Pit. It insists on itself. Whenever I get into film conversations with people, and they start to get super, super heady, that's literally the first thing that pops into my head. Hey, Newt, what's going on, Lou? Airplane 2 is just airplane in space. Yes, basically. But there's nothing wrong with that. Airplane in space is fine, you know? Um, yeah, I don't know. The parody, I feel like the parody movie will have its day again. Um, I'm surprised that nobody's done like the Stranger Things style one, and all those kind of shows that inspired it. I imagine that when you had all the Twilight parody movies and Spider-Man parody movies and all that, like superhero movie and all that epic movie and all that shit, I thought that there would be one that would come out of the wake of the Stranger Things style thing. Yes, Airplane 2 does have Monique Gabrielle. Oh, I love no, Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2 are fine. What's the other one? There was the cop one as well. There was like a Die Hard parody. Uh, they're doing that. Yes, I saw the it's church movie. I had the trailer played the other night when I was at the theater, and I literally started laughing at the theater, because like Mickey Rourke is in it, but it looks like he filmed all of his scenes like on Zoom. And it's like this is not a Tyler Perry movie. And I've seen a lot of Tyler Perry. Loaded Weapon 1, that's right. There was Loaded Weapon 1, there was The Silence of the Hams, Dracula Dead and Loving It. Today I see a movie called The Big Bet. I don't know that one. And I thought I've seen all of her movies. I'm a big Monique Gabrielle fan, obviously. Right, Elvira? All right, good talk. She's definitely my favorite of all the Scream Queens. I want Mets to watch Deathstalker 2 with me. Dorm Days 1 and 2, and then Transylvania. Oh wow, I haven't thought about Transylvania in years. Sylvia Christel was also in Emmanuel. Yeah, Sylvia Christel was also in Private Lessons, I think it was. Um, Laura Gemser is my favorite of the Emmanuel. She was Black Emmanuel. For an actress who spent her entire career being naked, she then moved into being a costume person for movies. That was like, I don't know about that. But Laura Gemser was definitely my favorite. So fucking hot. Shitty knockoff National Lampoon is kind of my jam. Yeah, there was a lot of the like King Frat came out of that era. Wacko came out of that era in the '80s, like out of the National Lampoon stuff. Then there was like National Lampoon Class Reunion. Yeah, I mean you're right there, Steve. Hey, she could do whatever she wants. Um, I have the Black Emmanuel poster. I just never frame it because I'm like it's already weird enough if you see the stuff in my apartment. But I always just imagine if somebody walks in and sees like essentially pornography, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck, dude?" So I never frame that one. Um, I will eventually. Maybe when I move and I have a little bit more space, I'll do that. Uh, but I inherited a whole bunch of weird adult film posters from a collector who was a former friend of mine. American Pie sequels that became parodies of the original movie. It's weird. I've only ever seen the first two American Pie movies. I never saw any of the spin-offs, but I remember when they were coming out, like Band Camp and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't a huge fan of the American Pie movies. Now, looking at them to see that point in the '90s that we're still able to make those kind of movies is actually pretty eye-opening. Um, it's a I don't think that the age of the teen sex comedy will ever return, and the age of the raunchy comedy. It's even hard to see that ever making a comeback in a mainstream fashion. There's always going to be, it's always going to be there, but I don't think it's the kind of thing that people on both sides of the aisle will ever go see. Whereas, like, I know liberals and I know conservatives who went to go see The Hangover, but I don't know any that would go see anything like that nowadays. And that was 2009, so it's weird to see how far our culture has changed in such a short period of time. And this isn't like when it comes to the raunchy comedy, it's not like we're going like, well, yeah, it's changed for the better that people aren't making derogatory references to minorities and stuff like that anymore. It's like, no, this was just dirty jokes, and people knew what they were going into. Like nobody was going into the Hangover and being like, oh my god, guys, grown men making fun of each other use the F slur. Gasp, shiver me timbers. Like nobody was punching down there, but nowadays it would become like, I don't know, nothing makes sense anymore. Porky's in space, Porky's the next generation. I'd see that. Yeah, and again, they're not. I've reached that point where I realize that movies aren't made for me. Yeah, I'd buy that for now. RoboCop. You could never do that kind of satire again. Look at the remake. I just rewatched RoboCop a couple days ago, and every time I watch it, I'm struck by. I know every fucking line to that movie. I'm endlessly fascinated by what they were able to do with that movie, but it just need to have a rating to get it a little bit. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. There's the only scene that I remember from that movie was when they strip him down to exactly what he is. But like that scene should have had the power of a much fucking simple. My favorite scene in the first RoboCop movie is when it's Murphy and Lewis, and they're in the concrete factory or whatever they are after like Ed 209 and the cops fucking fire at RoboCop, and Lois and him get away. And he brings the bag. She brings the bag, and it has his gun in it, and it has the drill gun. And he takes the screws out, and he says to her, he's like, "You're not gonna like what you see." And he takes the helmet off, and he's looking. She's holding up a piece of glass, and he's looking at this warped reflection of himself. That scene, you have all this fucking wild shit. You have the was it 2000 SUX commercial with the stop motion dinosaur, and you've got Ed 209, and you've got all this other stuff going on, and then you're reminded that this man died for the company dime, basically, and you watch that movie and you realize that like the government, like that a company put at risk police officers in at risk situations in order to have a body to meet their bottom line. Like that fucking shit's crazy to me. But it's also so real in this sci-fi movie. But he's got, the idea of him saying, "You're not going to like what you see." And then he asks about Murphy's wife and kids, and he, in the third person, and he says, "I can feel them, but I don't remember them." That is fucking heartbreaking. And so fucking real in this movie, where in a couple minutes this dude's gonna be doused in toxic waste and get run over by a car. That movie has this way of handling its tonal shifts so masterfully that you can have a scene like when Ed 209 blows the fucking dude away, and it's just a glitch, and to where Murphy gets killed. Those two scenes are very comparable when it comes to the gore, but we as an audience we register them so differently because of how masterfully the tone is handled by the director and by the screenwriters. And that's why that is not one of the greatest. It's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, but it's just those shifts that make it so fucking real and like palpable that it's like, yes, he's a superhero, yes, he's RoboCop, but like you have to remember that like there's a guy inside of that, and the entire movie is about a man finding his own spirit, his own identity again inside the machine. And yeah, that's fucking great, man. Yeah, Clarence Bodiger. I just I love the scene where he's like, "Kathy, I'm busy, but I'd love to fit you in later." And then he sticks his gum on her nameplate, and he's like, "You can keep the gum." And that was apparently that actor's real wife. But there's little things like that, and when he keeps calling him Dick, and then when he's like, "You can run all the prostitution and all that stuff," he's like, "All right, Richard," and he changes his tone. Like little things like that are what make it so fucking fantastic. That movie is just so on a different level. But in the 80s, like we could make movies like that, and you could have subtlety and wit, and it would take you a couple times to watch something before you finally got the breath of what the director was doing. I remember seeing that movie for the first time as a kid and being like, okay, RoboCop looks fucking cool. He's got a cool gun, but like without fully understanding the Christ element, and the sacrificial political, socio-economic, military, industrial elements of that, you know? Yeah, exactly. And then the end when he says, "Nice shooting, son. What's your name?" And he says Murphy, and then he smiles, and then boom, the credits, and I'm like, yes, like fucking more of that, please. You know, like I remember seeing it with an audience at a screening in like the early 2000s, and still that movie gets a reaction. I mean, then, but 20 some years later, that movie still gets a reaction. That ending scene still gets a reaction. His death, still gets a reaction. That it's why it's one of the most brilliant science fiction movies ever fucking made, and I love the idea that the director threw it at. He's like RoboCop. I don't fucking make a movie called RoboCop, but it's like there is so much more. Yeah, and the dun 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 dun. There's just so much more to it. I guns, guns, guns. Come on, Bobby. The Tigers are playing tonight. I never miss a game. Or even when he dips the two fingers in the guy's wine and then sniffs it like he's fingering it. I'm like, this is brilliant, just fucking brilliant. Everybody in that movie was, I've watched all the documentaries. Robo wants Oreos and stuff like that. Deepest Bluest, my head is like a shark fin. That's I haven't seen that movie in years. I should probably revisit it at some point. But no, RoboCop, man, is just like it's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's a movie that you could teach courses on how impossible a task it is to balance the tone of that story with a title at like RoboCop when you're dealing with a dude in like a big, plastic costume, and for it to work so well. And yeah, no, it's fucking great, and the gore is incredible, and I love the little things, like even when he takes the helmet off, that they keep the bullet hole there, and even like little things like where people always go like, why did they operate him on it? He was clearly dead. I was like, yeah, but he was gonna become a product. In order to legally do what they had to do, they had to put the work in, and I feel like that's all part of it, is that breaking down the idea of humanity as the workforce into just a commodity is just so brilliant. That movie's definitely one of the greatest satires ever. It's up there. I put that up there with like broadcast news and shit like that. Yeah, RoboCop 2, one of my favorite scenes in it is, I love the failed RoboCop. I love the fucking one that pulls its head off. I love the one that shoots itself in the head. Like, there's a lot about RoboCop 2 that I really, really like. I love the cast. But again, Miller's screenplay was unfilmable. So you got a weird hodgepodge of it because kids, like Ghostbusters too, kids love RoboCop. Kids love Ghostbusters. So you couldn't do the adult shit anymore. You had to tone it down. But like stripping RoboCop down for parts like that, where it's just that fucking that puppet, and you're just like, oh my god, this is horrifying. And you got Nuke, and you got Tom Noonan as the villain. No, RoboCop 2 has some good stuff in it, but it's hard to match the grittiness and the rawness of that first film. It's unlike it's unlike anything. All right, good night. Enjoy Phantasm. I guess this channel just doesn't have balls. But yeah, no, so I rewatched that recently. I rewatched Buckaroo Banzai recently, another Peter Weller movie. What did I rewatch recently? Rewatched Purple Rain the other day. I got Wally. I want to rewatch Wally. The guy who plays the violin made RoboCop 2. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. He's like, wait. Yeah, I remember seeing Deep Blue Sea in the theater, and and I haven't revisited it in a long time. Obviously, the Sam Jackson scene everybody knows. Purple Rain's fucking great. Yeah, I was I don't know. I was on a kick, a Prince kick the other day, so I popped in Purple Rain. I rewatched Wally not too long ago. I want to do a video about that. Deep Blue Sea kind of sucked. I don't know. I like the cast. I like Thomas Jane a lot. I like Sam Jackson, LL Cool J. What else? Oh, I rewatched Excalibur last week. Um, and I got my copy of Rocky Horror Picture Show back. I'm waiting for Metz to has never seen it, so we'll watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. Oh, After Hours is great. You know what my favorite Scorsese movie that nobody ever talks about is Bring Out the Dead. I really like that one. Got to watch THX. THX is great. Haven't seen that one in a long time, but you know, anything that was tangentially connected to Star Wars, obviously I've seen a million times. Cobra's great too. Have you seen Naked Lunch? Yep, of course. Anytime I think of Cobra, I just think about cutting the crust off pizza with scissors. Yeah, Metz has never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. My favorite thing about that movie is that it's always moving forward. And it feels the kinetic nature of it because he's half asleep. Everything feels like you're like watching a baby get too close to steps. You're like, ooh, you know. That's the vibe that I got the whole time watching Bring Out the Dead. Yeah, and the bad guy from Cobra was the fucking dude who was the alien bounty hunter on the X-Files. Oh yeah, yep. After Hours was the name of the novel Carlito's Way was based on. After Hours is great. I feel like you're living it. Yeah, exactly. And that's and again, John Goodman's in that movie and Rosanna Arquette's in that movie. Oh, really? I used to do Newt. What's hanging? My dong, my big old dong. Buffalo Bob. Yeah, he was in Joe Dirt. That's right. I forgot about that. Um, there's always a guy we see at horror cons dressed as Joe Dirt pulling the shit meteorite in a wagon. It's always funny to see him. Yeah, I used to do Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Harwin Theater when I was a projectionist, and they made me get dressed up a couple times as different characters. I used to be in really good shape, so I was happy to wear some of those, but gross, dude, you ate off that thing. But no, I don't think I would be able to pull off a Rocky Horror costume anymore. I got to get back in shape. Which I keep saying and then I do nothing about. But I can't really put too much. I'm like having a hard time. Like my knee will feel fine for a while, and then I'll push it some way, and it'll go right back to how it was. So I'm trying to figure that whole fucking thing out. On the plus side, who was my favorite one to dress as? Circle is a shape. You're right. I dressed as Frankenfurter. I was dressed. I had to dress once as Rocky. Um, who else did I just dressed as the Transylvanians before, and then I was Brad once, but it was very cold the evening that we showed that, and I should have stuffed. I think I would have been far more impressive had I stuffed. Because the Harwin Theater was like on its last legs. Some days the heating didn't work. Some days the air conditioning didn't work. And the projection booth wasn't like barely insulated. So I just remember standing there in my underwear or in like gold lame shorts and just being like, this sucks. What movie deserves a Rocky Horror Picture Show style screenings? I mean, I would love if more people. Can you frank my furter? I will. What that's a great yeah the Canon one. I have that documentary over there. I never saw the Go Go Boys, which is the one that Eli Roth produced, but I saw the other one. What movie deserves I'd love to see more people. I'd love to see more Grindhouse screenings, like the movie Grindhouse. I'd love to see more Phantom of the Paradise screenings. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of shit that I would love to just get. I would love to present them and get to watch them with an audience. Of the stuff that I got to show, it was a lot of public domain stuff, or that I was the host of because that's all I could afford. Darkman would be awesome. Actually, I've run Darkman before. Yo, what's going on, Paraspooky? I had nothing else going on tonight. I got done work. I shaved. I ate a little something, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump on here and see if anybody's up and at 'em. And there's a theater by me for rent. If I could afford it, man, I would, you know. And I'm in this weird thing where like I keep getting offered to move other places and do other jobs. You look really healthy. No, I don't. I feel like you know. But I did get a good bill of health from my doctor yesterday. I went on my lunch break to my urologist, and he said that I'm healed up enough that I can schedule my surgery that's going to put me out for a couple days. That led to an argument, which is why I went on two other job interviews. I took these other two jobs, and I put my 2 weeks in with K1, because they're like, it's very selfish of you to take these surgeries after you just started working here. And I was like, when they interviewed me, I told them that I was going to be doing these surgeries. Like, how is what like and honestly, the Tuesday that I got the last surgery, I was back to work on Wednesday morning, and I could barely fucking walk, but I still came to work, and I was like, I don't need this shit. Um, so yes, that's what I'm doing. But I got a clean bill of health, so now I just have to schedule the surgery, and my lawyer thinks that I should K1 the go kart place. Yep, yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't a good fit for me. And then obviously it's been doxxed twice, and that sucks. Because just like with FYE, it was just shit I had to answer for that I shouldn't have to answer for. So where I'm going, you'll know, race, but for the most part, nobody's gonna know where I'm working anymore, because I feel like it just adds too many problems. I have to hide everything, as not to have fucking trolls come at me for something that I did 3 fucking years ago. So, secret squirrel, that's right. I'll get the hat and everything. But yeah, so it was good to at least say, they checked me out. They said I healed up enough that I can move on to the next phase, and start with a new job, and start putting some money together. The ultimate goal is no matter what, I have to make a movie this summer. No matter what I do, no matter how I do it, I have to figure out a way to afford how to make a movie this summer. And I'm damn it, everybody knows. It's the same. It's part pet store, pet porn shop. Uh, it's called Gerbils, Gerbils, Gerbils. But yeah, so that's kind of my goal. And then I've got I'm so in. Pitch me a movie, dude. I've got so many. I have 25 screenplays completed on my desktop that are mine. Um, yeah. I'm happy that here comes the first the doxers. I hope not, man. It sucked. It sucks to get pulled into the office, and have to explain, okay, so this is Screenwave Media, and there's this guy called the Angry Video Game Nerd, and I was hired to write 6 scripts. Script 6 turned into 15. 15 turned into 26. I was told this sounds too much like James, make it sound like, it doesn't sound like James, make it sound like James. I copied and pasted stuff because I was told it was going to be rewritten. It didn't get rewritten. I lost my job. I tried to kill myself 3 times. But it just goes like, my friend stopped talking to me, blah, 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 blah. So I have to explain this story constantly wherever I go. So, that sucks. And that's what if I got to keep things a little bit more close to the vest, and continue to make shit, and hopefully eventually all the shit that I've made will drown out that stuff, because they're like, all right, that was the old, this is the new. And it's cool. Yeah, we got plus another job, hopefully a better one. Yeah, yeah, and it was just I got weird. Uh, right, I've been living it. I've been living that concise version of the story for 3 years now. And I go into how everybody's much happier without me, and everybody's got new boyfriends, and their shows are more successful and all that kind of stuff. But if it wasn't for all that, you guys would have never met Mets. And everybody loves Mets. But yeah, so we've got in a couple days. Shark Exorcist 2 comes out next month. Bigfoot Exorcist comes out. Or yeah, June, Bigfoot Exorcist comes out, and then I go because Cold of Blood comes out. I handed in 30 something pages of this untitled found footage thing that I'm writing for this guy, but I haven't really gotten great direction as to where to go, so I feel like I'm kind of feeling around in the dark. Writing found footage is hard. I didn't realize that. I'm trying to figure out every fucking angle where a camera would be in this story to make it make sense. So I'm bouncing between this guy having all these security cameras in his apartment, and police body cam footage, and doorbell cameras, and I'm like trying really hard to think outside the box to tell this type of story that they want, where I'm not constantly going back to the footage on this guy's computer to keep doing the shock stuff. How dare I have a life outside? I know, right? Well, I'm not allowed. No matter what I do, I'm a lolcow, and my past is dictates who I am forever. So nothing else I've ever done will matter, and everything I've done is plagiarized. Everything I'm literally saying to you right now is plagiarized from somewhere else. So it is what it is. But yeah, I need desperately to get a film made. Batman enters the public. Yes, I have a lot of cool ideas on. Actually, I have one fucking dope ass idea on how to do Batman. I think I've told Race this one before. That like would mix Batman with the Golem, the Jewish legend. About what Bruce Wayne did with his family fortune, other than because he couldn't train his body and his mind. Well, maybe you will. Maybe I'll tell that story one day. It's like my Popeye one. I was kind of told, don't waste your time. You're never going to get that made. So I stopped writing it. But I had a really fucking cool idea for Popeye because it enters the public domain next year. But I feel like with, the year is short. Making a movie takes a long time. If I didn't start it already, it's never going to happen. So I just kind of abandoned that. I wrote like 50 pages, and I was just like, this ain't going to happen. That's been kind of my big fear, is the mind killer. And that's been kind of my biggest thing, is just realizing that I don't have the... Oh, wait, I think you mentioned this at dinner in Akron. Yeah, I think I did tell you guys that. Yes, every word I write is already written in the dictionary. That's a made-up word. All words are made up. And again, nobody has any fucking new ideas. And it's funny to watch other YouTubers ripping off them other people too, and just be like, it's fine. I'm not saying a word. But no, I need to figure out how to get some of these really small scripts that I've written made. One dude wants to do a crowdfund. I worry about that, even though he's a professional. He's done it before. Anytime I've done anything like that, I've been called an e-beggar. Even putting a couple copies of the unsold Ashcan online and telling people, oh, if you want a copy, I'll send it to you. Just hit up the Venmo. People are calling me. I'm getting DMs calling me a fucking e-beggar and stuff like that, and get a real job. And I'm just like, all right, sorry. Sorry I wanted to share this thing I wrote with people. But yeah, I don't know. Health is first. Getting acclimated with the job situation, finishing up the 2 weeks at the other place. Met with this guy about crowdfunding. We got the event coming up in Delaware later this month. Um, we're gonna show off some of the stuff I made for Donald Farmer and all that. But we'll see. I don't know. I got to make something this summer though. I feel like I'm getting stagnant and just standing still. I was talking to my friend Lee the other day, and he runs this awesome short film festival, and they have all this great animation and people from like regular show and all that kind, like all these cool people are involved in his stuff. And he works a full-time job and pays bills and all this kind of stuff, but he also gets to all this cool art shit, and I miss that. But you got to be able to afford to do that stuff, and I'm since paying for all this medical shit and all that, I'm more behind than I've ever been in my entire life. So I was like, I just got to get myself ahead, and then I can start to think creatively. But it's been hard, man. Because I want to be making stuff. I want to be casting my friends. I'm watching other friends who are actors and all this kind of stuff, getting dejected because they're not getting roles and all that. And I want to give them that opportunity because I feel like I'm at my best when I'm surrounded by creative people who make my dumb ideas better. So right now I kind of feel like I'm letting a lot of people down, including myself, not being able to figure out at 42 fucking years old how to spin out of this last 3 years and into something more creative. Like I can write for fucking Donald Farmer till the cows come home. I can go shoot little 5 to 10 minute segments for him, or I can write for Robbie for Crude Cinema, or these guys who I wrote Scissors for and stuff like that. Like I could do that, but like that's not mine. That's something I'm adding to someone else's thing, and I want to do more stuff that's got my name on it, because then it's like, all right, call me a fucking plagiarist. Go ahead, I made this fucking thing, and it's out there, and it's mine, and you can't take that away from me. It'll try, but that's kind of been on my mind the last 3 years, is just feeling like I'm letting people down by talking about all these projects I want to do. And you get to a certain point where things kind of come into view and you put a lot of work in. I had to talk about this every fucking stream. But like you start putting things together and then you just watch it fall apart, because it's like, you don't have the actual ability to get it across the finish line, or B, people are full of shit and they lead you with false promises and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. That's been heavy on my mind, because all I want to do is just create and make stuff and write and see the things I write come alive, and get behind the camera and start working with creative people again. But money talks, and I don't have it right now. It was so much easier back in the day when I was doing Midnight Show, where I would okay, we're gonna do this thing and this thing. I would start putting money aside, but I would still be okay on my bills, and I used my tax money the one year to make Swamp Zombies. But right now I don't have that going on, so it's been harder. But my ultimate goal is this summer to get something going, because I would love to have something to show in October when I'm out in Tucson at the Horror Con, the Tucson Horror Fest, or whatever it's called, or even when I'm a guest of the Tucson Horror, or the Tucson Comic Con in August. Like I'd love to have shit to show. I thought Vampire was going to be moving a little bit faster, and that guy's kind of changed course a little bit. I thought Mars vs. Cheerleaders would be moving a little bit faster. Those guys have refocused things, and I always feel like it's partially my fault that I can't get these things over the hump. Like I'm good at getting the concept fleshed out to a degree and getting people kind of excited about it, but then you got to keep your fucking foot on the pedal. And I feel like after a while, people kind of they lose interest and they move on. Fairly busy today. Just a quick cut. Yo, what's going on, Hell Knight? How are you? Mandroid for president? I agree. But no, I don't know. That's kind of been one of my biggest things of late, is just wanting to get back out there and doing creative stuff again. Like I could shoot a million fucking little things on my cell phone or whatever, but with the channel being shadow banned and all that kind of stuff, it's just like nobody's really seeing it anymore, and it's harder to get people excited. I'm always excited. I'm always like, if you give me a chance, yeah, I know, and that's the biggest thing is like, I don't know, trying to figure it out. Like I feel like, sometimes I go like, fuck, had I just fucking shut my mouth and just done the extra work and swallowed my pride and checked to make sure people had done their work, I would probably still be at Screenwave. I'd probably be at least able to make something of my own. It would probably be shaped into what Ryan and Justin and people like that wanted, but I would still at least get to make things with a budget. So I don't know. That bothers me sometimes. You'd be miserable, and I know I would. Um, I want to be the boss, man. I want to be the boss. I want to not be starting over constantly. I want to be creative. And I feel like I get in like spurts of manic creativity because I go so insane when I look at like the visage of death which hovers over me, like, adversity shows us who you really are. No, I know, but like, no, it wasn't James's fault. It was my fault. It was 100% my fault. Um, he gets what he's told to read, and he reads it. And I should have not. I should have just done all the extra work and not expected other people to check things and to rewrite things. I should have just done it from the start, handed it in, and moved the fuck on. And after six, I should have said no. Okay, but I didn't. So that, and you make these mistakes, and these mistakes follow you, and this is where we are. I can't blame, I can't blame Justin. He had his own shit to do, and I can't blame Crystal for not talking to me anymore. She's way fucking happier. Like, she probably thinks she wasted 15 of her years of her life with me, and I can't blame Tony. He's like, shit, this fucking dude could have sank everything I've been working on all these years. So you can blame whoever you want, but I'm saying, as myself, as somebody who's self-actualized and realized the steps that I took and the steps that I didn't take to lead me to where I am. And yeah, I would be someone playing someone else's minstrel. If I was doing stuff there, but I would have a budget. And I would have a little bit more, I'd be a little bit more padded in my bank account or something like that. Um, Whatever I do is all mine, and yes, I'm gonna have to struggle to get whatever I make made. Even just getting this stuff for Donald Farmer done was it's a lot of begging, borrowing, and stealing to get those things together, because I had to pay Madeline, I had to pay Fallon, and then I had to take less credit for things when it came to Amityville versus the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls, or handing over more credit to people for Darby Screamhouse, stuff like that. To get it done, you got to basically humble yourself, and I want to be out there going like, this is me, I put these things together, but honestly I didn't. Like, in order to get those things done, I had to give up control, and that's what happens. Part of the grind, this, yeah. But I just want to get to a point where, I had a meeting with the guy, the High Times guy, who I met, this guy Kyle. I met him at the con in Edison. Him and his friend were interviewing people for Dread Central, the horror website, and we got into a little conversation, and it turned out that he went to the same high school that I went to. He graduated years later, but I was like, wow, what a small fucking world. Your name is Kyle. Your name is Kyle. But so we got into a whole conversation. He's run a lot of successful crowd funds. And, so I've now been, we had a whole conversation, and I tried to hook him up with my distribution guy, but my distribution guy didn't get back to him, so I can't get him the information that he needs. But then I was like, hey, so I tried to introduce him to some other film people that I know who have ready to go projects. They just need the money to kind of get it going. So I've been trying to at least create good synergy with people. And then how much would it cost to get one of these movies made? Everything I've been writing right now has been in the 10 to 12,000 range. But obviously, I can change anything to be way, way less if needed to be. Everything I've made, Midnight Show I made for 12, I've been making for 12 years out of my own pocket. I've probably spent 50K on that one, because it's got monsters and nudity and all kinds of shit. Swamp Zombies I made for 3,000, but I made that for, and then yeah, it probably cost me five in the end. But I also did. I had a lot of favors on that one, and you got to think like that was back in the day when Mr. Lobo still talked to me. That was back in the day when Movie Dumpster Joe still talked to me. When you're friends with those kind of people, they have a lot of skills and a lot of resources that they can pull in. A lot of those people aren't in my life anymore. And also, like, I'm in a point now where people have been like, dude, you haven't done anything in 10 years. Like, I talk a big game of all these projects that I've got to do and involved in, and then when shit doesn't come out, it's much harder for people to take a chance on you. So, like, my biggest thing is, like, what the fuck can I do for as little as possible with the people who I know? It's like Robert Rodriguez. I got a turtle, I got a guitar, and I got a bus. I'm going to make a movie around those elements. That's why I wrote Amityville Halloween back when Fallon and I were working closer together. I wrote it to just be just the things that we had on hand. And then I still have a couple YouTube friends, that would do favors for me. 8-Bit Eric would shoot a scene, and Professor, and anybody watching this right now shooting cameos and shit like that. So I had written that, and that was going to go, and then obviously the Ohio thing happened. I don't know. It gets hard to get excited, and this isn't me bitching. I know I've been bitching for like the last 30 minutes. I'm just trying to kind of go into the process of it all. I kind of like keep trying to trick myself into thinking, well, if I write a little bit of everything, because you got this like Winnie the Pooh movies, and you got the Mickey Mouse movies, and oh, now you got a Winnie the Pooh versus Mickey Mouse movie coming out. I'm like, what can I write that's like meme porn style shit? And then if I just keep writing enough of it, I might see somebody like, hey, I need this kind of script, and then I'll have it, And that's what I've kind of been doing for the last few years is just stockpiling fucking screenplays. Dino Geist, Vampire, Only Fangs became Ghouls, Ghouls, Ghouls. Laser Dudes, all this shit. Just trying to have every genre and subgenre have something written, because maybe I'll have a chance. I was like, well, you don't have to wait for a script. I've got one. So I just keep writing, and then there's just been so much shit that I've abandoned. I don't know. I get to a point where I start to think like maybe like the trend has left me behind. I'm no longer the demographic. And I have this vibe where I need to keep checking myself and like tempering my expectations for things. And now the goal is just get one done. Midnight Show, there's so much of it done, but I need to finish it. I need to reshoot all those theater scenes because I can't use any of the crystal footage. So like, I just need to get fucking one done and just figure out how to make that work. And I know I have friends who have movie theaters. I have friends who run Comic Cons and horror cons and stuff like that. Getting it seen isn't what I'm worried about. I'm just worried about like Rocky, just fucking going the distance. I've been in love with this shit. Anybody who watches this channel, anybody who knows me, knows how gaga I am for, film and for filmmaking and getting people together on set and making pretend. And like, I know how to make a movie. I know the technical elements of it. I'm not an editor, but I have people if I could pay them, I will pay them for that. I have people who do scores. I have people who build costumes and actors and all this kind of shit. It's just like, when you don't have the resources, you can't ask people in this economy to come and do things for free anymore. And I fear doing a crowdfund or something like that is going to make me an e-beggar. And then, more so when people ask me to share their projects through crowdfunding, I'm scared that it's going to hurt their projects because of the fucking trolls. So I've been like, I've told people I would help them, and then I don't because I'm scared to hurt their art, far more talented people than me, because I made a fucking mistake, and because I made a mistake, people go out of their way to hurt people who are associated with me, and I don't want to do that to people. Yo, greetings and salutations, Professor. I literally just mentioned you. So yeah, so that's there's been a lot of like factors, and granted, you could say like, well, quit being a pussy faggot and just do it. Just put your fucking big boy pants on and go fucking do it, and don't fucking, it doesn't matter. It does matter. To me, it matters because I want to do it the right way. I don't want to leave any reason for doubt. I don't want people to come in under false pretenses to get, I stole your line. I'm like Will Hunting. This bastard stole my line. You're running a GoFund. I got my buddy Tommy. He used to work. Oh, you're like a Bon Jovi song. But yeah, I don't know. I need to figure out a way to get something going this summer. But like I said, health is first. Acclimated with the new job situation is second. I'm told by the producer that we'll see something of Florida Man this summer. And that he's going to do a full push behind it to make sure he makes his money back. So a lot of people have third mortgages. You didn't even barter with him. The franchise rights alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm told that we'll see something of Florida Man this summer. You got the shit that I already wrote, that I already worked on, that's done, that's coming out. Donald Farmer asked me if I wanted to shoot a segment for Were Shark, which I said, yeah. Obviously, I would like to shoot a segment for Were Shark. I don't know. I want to be around monsters and boobs this summer, man. I'm going to be 43 in October, and I gave myself till 40 to make something, and now I'm just like, I'm just like, well, just give a little bit longer and just see what happens. But I don't know. I don't want the fire to go out. I don't want to become, I feel like if I stop trying to make, whether I make anything or whether anything I've ever made is any good, probably not. But it's the, two of my favorite things, monsters and boobs. Exactly. You can't go wrong with that. It's like peanut butter and chocolate. Two good things that go good together. But I feel like so many times I said, well, I'll just stop. After the plagiarism thing, I'll stop. Nobody's ever going to hire me to do, to do anything. And I was like, no, I can't, because if I stop trying to do things, and I don't like just talking about movies on YouTube, like that's not, that's complacency. I like that I have an audience. I like that there's 26 people watching right now, and not to feed my own ego. You ever poop yourself? I've never pooped myself, but I've been around a lot of people who have pooped themselves. I've had many photo finishes, though. I can tell you that right off the bat. I was on a film set one time. Monsters and boobs are not necessary, but they're most certainly appreciated. Exactly. You don't need them, but it's they add to everything. I was on a film set in like the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. And we were filming something for Midnight Show that we wound up reshooting all of. But I don't know what I ate, but my stomach started bubbling like crazy, and we're in the middle of a shot, and in the shot I'm supposed to run and turn this corner, and I started running, and midway, and I was like, oh no. I ducked I ducked into the woods where I had to turn the corner and just whipped my fucking pants down, and just liquid mess everywhere. And I think people think I hurt myself. And I heard somebody coming, and I literally used my socks to clean up, and I played it off. I was like, oh man, yeah, I know I fell and I hurt myself. I'm good though. I knocked the wind out of myself. That's what took so long. And then I was just like, shit, they're shit. And I had to make sure that when we were filming, nobody got close to that area so that they didn't find shit, and that I'm assuming there would be flies and all that kind of stuff. So like the whole rest of the day, as I'm supposed to be doing things, I'm like paying attention to make sure that nobody goes near this little like nook in the woods while we were filming that. That was super embarrassing, but that was the closest that I ever got. And I wish I still had the footage of it because I'm running as fast as I can, and then I literally like fucking leap. Like I do like a Superman leap to get out of the way of the camera, and then like fucking crab walk backwards. I'm disgusting. But no, I've never shit myself. But I almost shit myself on camera for that. So your guys are good there. Yeah. And no, I can't let the fire go out. I need to almost shit myself on sets again, And I got to make something because I owe Christy, who passed away last June, a movie. Revenge is the best. Success is the best revenge. I do need to get things out there to make people question abandoning me. There's all these things. All these things are swirling around as I try to fucking write. Yeah, you're honest. What am I gonna do? Uh, it's embarrassing, but everybody's got fucking embarrassing stories. It's just you got to be open with it and not try to be a character. You can do it. Don't give up. I'm trying. Certainly one way to ruin a pair of socks. Well, no, just it was hot out. I said later on that night we got back in the van to go back to where all of our cars were, and they're like, "Where's your socks?" And I was like, "Dude, it was so fucking hot out there. I got rid of my socks." But then I realized I was like, "Oh wait, I'm wearing socks," and I had long pants on. But I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm wearing socks in certain shots and then not in other shots." When I saw the final cut, there is a couple times where you could see the continuity error if I don't have socks on. And I was like, they don't need to know. Well, now 30 people do know. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. You know, you should make a movie about a guy making a movie. Yeah. It would be a documentary on how not to make a movie. Midnight Show would literally be, you could teach Midnight Show in colleges on how not to make a movie. Everything I did was wrong. Everything I did was knee jerk. I involved women I was sleeping with, and then once we weren't a thing anymore, that became a thing. Begged, borrowed, and stole locations. Still got the sleazy Steve outfit. I do. It's actually in a bag in the other room here. All my props are in totes in my bathroom in like the back section. I got a bunch of stuff we used on Midnight Show, a bunch of stuff we used on Hack the Movies I'm live. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. I got some of the cheerleader costumes from Mars vs. Cheerleaders, stuff like that. I don't know. I got a bunch of crap, masks and all that. And again, when I was writing Amityville Halloween, I just wrote it around stuff that I already had to make it a little bit easier. But that one didn't happen. But it's a cool title. When I fall in love with an idea of mine, Ricky Spanish, I like that name. Yeah, when I fall in love with an idea, I can't wait to get it out of my head and out onto the page, Do you just extend your leg too much, or did you injure yourself? I tore my MCL. It totally popped. And I guess I've had 2 cortisone shots in it to dull the pain. But once all the other internal issues became a problem, I just kind of live with the knee thing right now because, I thought I had prostate cancer. And then I thought that I had all these other issues, and it turned out it was just all the issues from the urethra. My lawyer says that I should sue because what the hospital did to me, even though it was all those years ago, is not genetic. It was caused by them, That's weirdly impressive. That's the kind of injury wrestlers get. Yeah, and I got it instead trying to be fucking Dirk Diggler in Trenton, New Jersey to impress Fallon. So shows what I get, Yeah. That hurt. That really fucking hurt. And then every time I've tweaked it since then has really, really hurt. I've done it twice at K1 so far. Um, First time was like my third day there, and you're trying to like get your new nurses make, but yeah, they do. They make mistakes. But my lawyer thinks that I should sue. But this also happened in 1997, and it's caused me a lot of issues over the years. Be it health issues, sexual issues, stuff like that. And I look back at the issues that it's caused, and oh, it was. And then it was kind of funny though because people thought that I was in character. So you hear people laughing. Um, it's the bit from American Dad. Oh yeah, I remember that one. No, that hurt really bad. And then I was stepped there. So at the racing place, there's all these like charging stations that the cars all plug into, and in between are like these long runners. I stepped between the runner and twisted my ankle and popped the knee again, and I just laid there for a minute, and then I was like, fuck, I have these new staff members around, and I gotta try to exude something. So I had to get up, and like I was just hopping around, and then I tweaked it again the other night. I had put a water bottle next to my window in my bedroom, and I went across my bed to grab it and come back over, and I put too much pressure on my knee, and I just face planted, and I was just like, oh god. And then as I'm laying there like in pain, the cat just sits on the back of my head, because she's a big help. You suck. You just need to know that. But yeah, so hopefully after we get the internal stuff taken care of, I can worry about the knee. Because obviously it's not even just the urethra issue; it's all of the backing up of toxins into my bladder and kidneys and intestines over the last 15 years that the doctor's extremely worried about. So hopefully once that's all situated, and then they said I'm going to get way more blood flow once it's all resolved. So I can only imagine the ladies are going to be taken aback by that. I was like, this is what you've seen was 60%. We're going to give you 100%. She was just checking. No, it hurt really bad, and it's a dull pain every day, but I try not to push it too far. But I was riding the exercise bike the other day, and I started to feel it kind of like you have that like coiled spring, and I had to just stop and be like, nope, I'm good. What the PP do? The PP hurt. The PP back up into my system and poison me. But we'll see. Full power, Mr. Wallen. That's what I'm trying. It would be nice to have full power and then kind of get back in shape, and then and then revenge. It's the plan. Uh, First we get the underwear, then we get profit, then we get revenge. But what do the underwear do? I don't know. It's May. It's gonna be cool in 2 weeks to how far are the Oilers gonna go? Ugh. Poisoned by dong juice, right? That would be my that is my fucking like that's my luck. He died because he was filled with pee. Um, you know, uh, but no, how far? I don't know. I think the Oilers are going to make it to the conference finals. I don't think they're going to make it to the finals this year. I hope they are. They made short work of Los Angeles. They lost that one game by one. Oh God, student bodies is great. And I was peeing red for weeks there. After they had to keep scoping me and stuff like that. Um, you know, Plus then they gave me like an antibiotic as well, and then that just like made it pee and tingle. So I'm peeing and my brain is vibrating inside my head every time because it hurt. What about the Leafs? I want the Leafs to beat the Bruins, because fuck Boston. If any of you are from Boston, sorry, you're the worst city to drive in the whole world. They should everything that would be the longest documentary ever. It'd be everything I do is sad, so it's fine. No, I went back. Somebody who I made friends with more recently, he went back and started watching the channel from the beginning, and he was just like, "Oh my God!" He was like watching the thing, and he's like, "Jesus Christ! Like, what the fuck was happening over the last 3 years?" And again, and I have to explain everything to him. But like, definitely, it was far more present in some of my earlier videos. Just fucking how raw and broken and lost I was there, you know. The kitchen was a place to convalesce, you know. There hasn't been too many of that recently. I've kind of kept it a little bit more in check. But you know, there are times when things slip in. There's definitely the one live stream where I was about to lose it, you know, but I do my best to keep it real and raw and really raw. But you know, again, when you're not trying to feed the algorithm, you're not trying to entice advertisers, you're not trying to you know, play a character or anything like that, or get simps. Like it's easier to just be yourself, and some people are gonna watch it and be like, look at this fucking jack off, you know, what a fucking loser he is. Does he realize what a fucking loser he is? And I go, yes, I always realize, but I would much rather be myself than be fake, you know. And even if that makes me into a fucking lolcow, it's like whatever, and it is what it is, you know. I'm not like fucking. I never fucked my mom. I'm not like Chris Chan, you know. I'm kitchen convalescence. Yeah, it would be like one of those like those '90s Richard Linklater style, like Coffee and Cigarettes or something like that. Like it'd be one of those type of movies where you shot in black and white. You know, could do that. Give me some HelloFresh ads, man. I did the one for hymns, which I didn't like that at all. It didn't do anything for me either. I thought it would give me like a little extra tingle in my jingle, but instead it just kind of gave me a headache. So I only took it once, and I was just like, eh. Do you like the Hollywood Undead? What is the Hollywood Undead? Is that Johnny Depp's band? Oh no, it's Hollywood Vampires. I don't think I've seen Hollywood Undead if that's a movie. Um, yeah, I don't know. I again, like I want to be. I thought that at this point in the process, I would be like, oh my God, can you imagine? I'm that guy from back then sitting at that kitchen table. Like, look how great we're doing now. And I feel like I've taken some major steps backwards. Um, and I hate that. You know, sometimes I think that being blocked on social media by my former friends is kind of the best thing that ever could have happened for me because I don't have to compare myself to them except for when people send me stuff because I feel like that would make me even more insane. Hollywood Undead is a band like Slipknot. Okay, all right, I didn't know that. I don't know who they are. But I'm old, so you have to remember that. Um, because you know, I want to get to a point where we're making stuff, and that's kind of what we're talking about. And to think that all that stuff is like a million miles away, but it's always here. You know, it's always present, and you know, from nothing more than the creative process when it comes to me, haha. You know, just the general idea of it's always going to be something to contend with as I want to do things. That part of myself and those voices of you can't do it are always going to be part of you know, they aren't that new. All right, well, I don't know anything, guys. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm an old man. Um, Watching Inseminoids for the first time. All right. Somebody just messaged me they're watching Inseminoids for the first time. I'll hop on there with them and share some knowledge. They've been around since 2005. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to look them up. Like I looked up your channel. You know, I'm always looking to learn new old things. You know, you can teach an old dog new tricks, but you can't teach an old dog to drink water. How's that go? Uh, so create my my name is nude. I don't know about that. Originated from MySpace. Oh fuck. All right. Well, then I am out of touch, guys. Sorry. Um, Sometimes I wish I could log back into my old MySpace. I would love to see some of that shit. Uh, what is Mark Barshard like? I love. What is he like? He was gonna do a movie with us, but he refused to wear glasses, and he argued with my friend Joe, who's a producer, about him wearing glasses. And at no point did Joe ever say he had to wear glasses. So that was interesting. That was kind of my main takeaway with him. And then I kept trying to get Ryan and Justin to fly him out from Wisconsin to come be on the Cinemassacre podcast because I know James' affinity for Mark Borchardt, but they wouldn't do it. So you know they. So I don't know, but I haven't really talked to the guy much in the last like few years. Every so often I used to message him and he would message me, but then I think I kind of stopped. So you know, who wouldn't fight in there? Fred Olen Ray or Lloyd Kaufman? Well, Fred was a wrestler. Fred used to be a luchador wrestler, so that would be a good one for Robot Jocks, actually. I think that, well, again, we got to get together soon in person and do Robot Jocks because I think that would be a long one. Well, any place I am is a long one. But I think that we need to have a couple drinks and it would be like again, I want to get out when I'm out in Arizona. I want to do like one out by your pool and like do like a really like lounging like style Robot Jocks review, which is so different from being in my car, being in my kitchen, or being in my living room. I think that would be like a fun, like, what the fuck is he doing kind of vibe, for a Robot Jocks review. What did I miss? Do I know who Robin Sidney is? The name is familiar. Tried logging on to MySpace years ago and it deleted my user. Yeah, because same thing. I tried to get back into mine in like 2018 or something like that, and then it deleted everybody. It became like a music platform, which is funny because when I abandoned ship on MySpace, my last ever picture was like a dog dressed as a hipster, and I don't know why I made that, but it was like, okay, another one. She was in Evil Bong 1, 2, and 3, and Ginger. Oh yes, okay. I know. I don't know her personally, but I know her face. I know her from those movies. Obviously, I've seen all the fucking I was gonna say Empire pictures, but all the Full Moon stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a good thing I can't get back into MySpace though, because I think reading some of those old messages between obviously MySpace is how I met the redhead and other girls and stuff like that. I would probably hate to I'd probably hate to go back and read those and realize how fucking emo I was, but also just like it's sad to see, where things were to where things ended up with a lot of those relationships. And it's like one of those things like, fuck, if I could just go back, if I could just go back and redo everything from 2007 on, how differently things would be and how I would take better care of opportunities that I was given. Like if my pride and my own ego and my own unchecked trauma hadn't made me make such terrible decisions in my past, I think my life would be super different. Amber Pacific still holds up. I don't care what anybody says. I'm trying to think of that one. I don't know. I don't know anybody's names anymore. I don't know. Like, there's just so much stuff that, like, when you've seen so much stuff that it all kind of melds together in your head. Just told me to keep moving on. No, yeah, I know. I need to. Um, but it's like there's something ceremonial that I need to do. Um, what's David Mamet like? Never met him. I'm a big fan of his writing. There's something ceremonial about what I need to do when it comes to closing certain chapters, and that's going to mean finishing certain things that people were involved with that they're not involved with anymore, and having it stand on its own without certain people. That's going to help me close those chapters. and make me realize that, oh yeah, it was me. Like I introduced these people, I put these people together, I fostered a lot of these people's egos. Like not to be a dick, but like, a lot of people met and now do things because of me. And obviously they're better off without, like they found themselves. But I want to have that thing where I can say, look, I took this thing that you said was worthless and I made something out of it. No matter what it is, I made something out of it. That I need to do for myself, and that's kind of, that's a big part of closure. I can't, I'm not Hannibal. I can't get to the new world and burn the bridges or burn the boats. I need to complete the mission with or without certain people, and then hopefully that will, my biggest hope is it will regain people's trust in me, other creatives who are maybe on the fence, um, and then it'll maybe help me regain my own trust in myself and in my own instinct when it comes to certain creative things. That's kind of where I want to be, because I second guess everything I do now. Like when it comes to writing stuff. Now, granted, when I'm writing for other people, it's easy because they tell me what they want, where the beats are, and then I just put it together. When I wrote Scissors for those guys, they made it pretty simple as to what locations they had, the names of the actor, the character names, all that kind of stuff, what the scene had to represent, and then it was just my job to write it. So that was easy. I put little twinges of my own sensibilities into it, but for the most part, especially writing a gay slasher movie, I'm straight. I don't, I have a lot of gay friends, but I could never. Thankfully those guys were there to fill in a lot of those gaps for me, because then I would just kind of be like, am I doing this right? Like, am I stereotyping, that kind of thing, So like that I just second guess everything anymore. So that's why I would love to have a production going this summer where it's me, and when you're there and you're in it in the thick of it and there's people waiting on your decisions, you can't second guess yourself. It's like, it's like fucking, what's it, starva fever or something like that, like, or feed a cold, something. I don't know how it goes, but it's like that. Won't get fooled again. Isn't that what Bush said? I feel like I'm good on my feet, and that's kind of where I want to get to again this summer. So I've got guys right now looking at the Kung Fu Bikini script. Got a guy right now looking at the Floaters script, which is the haunted pool one. I think I could pull that one off pretty easily, and I think that I can. No, but there's a lot of people who I respect, who are smart people, who are good people, who are waiting for me to prove myself, to make something on my own, to or to fail again, to fall right back into what I did last time. And I understand why they're doing it. They don't want to get involved in somebody who is not proven or is volatile. So I don't blame those people. They're people who I still talk to and I'm friends with. But I've noticed that, and I'm sure other people have noticed too, that certain people who were part of my life, hot and heavy, after all that stuff happened, have very much cooled off and stepped back. A sequel to Halloween Resurrection. Wasn't their idea that Josh Hartnett was going to be after Michael at that point? A crispy fried chicken motherfucker, Michael Myers. I don't know. So so you're getting a glance into the neurotic headspace that I exist in, pretty much constantly. I dream about movies. I all I do every day that I'm not working, I'm daydreaming about films I want to make or script ideas, or I'm constantly taking notes on my phone, or writing shit down on pieces of paper. Like I used to keep a notepad next to my bed, or I'm going through old scripts, or I'm checking in with people who are always looking for scripts, and then like I have these things, and see if they're interested. Nobody's interested right now. Haven't been for the last 2 years, but I'm constantly trying to figure out a way to not even move the needle forward, but just to move the needle at all anymore. That's why I've only done like Donald Farmer stuff and like writing jobs, because it's like that's the only thing that's available to me. So, I want to do more, and I hope I can do more, you know? No, it doesn't. I mean, it's not a clout thing. It's like why would I invest my time and money into you if you haven't done more? Like if my biggest claim to fame is Swamp Zombies 2, and I love Swamp Zombies 2, but I understand how like it's kind of hard for people to put their money up when that's what I've done, So I don't blame them, I remember sitting I'll never forget like the first month I worked at Screenwave. Um, I used to make short films every year ago. Post COVID, my friends have either moved on or just don't have the time. Yeah, exactly, and I understand that, and that's why I said money talks. It's much harder to get people to come out and to do something for free. You can feed people, you can give them gas money. I can't even do that right now with people. But like, when you can pay them for their time, yo, what's going on, Ted? When you can pay people for their time and pay them properly for their time, they're going to be more willing to come out and to give something a bit more oomph, like working on set for Triple Xmas. Everybody who was there. I didn't get paid. I went out on my own dime just to be involved with the movie. And because I thought it was a fun part to play and I wanted to act, but everybody there was getting paid, and you can tell people are willing to do the extra when they're being paid to do something. And I feel like I can solve a lot of my own problems once I can afford to pay people to come out and be part of my harebrained ideas. But as far as clout and stuff like that, no, like I had a public, very public meltdown on social media, and sometimes still I let my um fed people. So I guess Mark Beauchard paid people to be in his movies. Yeah, I'm assuming he fed people. Mike brought sodas. I remember that. But so I was saying with Swamp Zombies. So when I first started working at Screenwave, um, we had a meeting, and I had pitched a follow-up Cinemassacre movie. Getting volunteer actors on the internet must have been wild, right? Getting people to show up. Well, if you need an editor, just let me know. I will. Again, I want to put everybody to work in some way. And then even with people who are remote, figuring out ways that people can shoot cameos or something to be involved. I want it to be like a Little Rascals, like let's fucking put on a show, man. But I also want to make sure that people don't think they're being taken advantage of. I don't want people to think they're being used. That scares me. That whole idea scares me, because there are those people out there who's like, oh, he just does this shit so he can get girls in skimpy outfits. I'm like, no, like everybody who's been skimpy outfits who's in my stuff are people who I know who want to do that stuff. Unfortunately, someone who I worked with a lot, after I was out of the picture, said that I made them do those things. That sucked to hear that. That sucked, and that it was emotionally hard for them because they had to stay in a certain shape, or that I would stop working with them, which I thought that was fucked up to hear that. But that's the shit that people say. Um, I don't know. My biggest thing is I just want everybody to feel like they want to be there. They want to do the thing. They're being properly taken care of for doing it, and it's harder when you don't have the funding. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that. Without the troll shit getting involved, and the name calling, or just to do it the right way. Because if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it the right way, and it's just throwing a fucking thing up and then expecting people to give you money. I don't expect people to give me anything. I never do. I would love for what I'm making to stand on its own and people to want to get involved. So yeah, but I was saying about Swamp Zombies again, going back to that. We had a meeting. I pitched Ryan and Justin on a Cinemassacre follow-up movie, not an angry video game nerd movie, a Cinemassacre follow-up, and it would be an anthology movie based on all of James's short films, remaking them or having his filmmaker friends remake them, and then him being like a Crypt Keeper style, Elvira style wraparound. And he didn't like that idea, but we had another idea that I pitched him, where each Cinemassacre, it's Massacre by Cinema, it would be a bunch of short stories, and everyone would be involved with an aspect of filmmaking. And I had this really fucking cool idea. I think I've talked about it before, and I pitched that, and they really liked it. And then the idea was, okay, well, what have you done? You know, so Ryan was like, well, put on Swamp Zombies. So I put on Swamp Zombies, and in the first like 5 minutes of the movie, there's the zombie with the blue hair with the pierced nipples, and he turned it off. He's like, this is trash. This is fucking garbage. He's like, why would I give you money to make this? And I was like, well, we're not making that. We're making this thing. But, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, not, I can understand why somebody wouldn't want, if that was all I had to show for myself, why somebody wouldn't want to get involved who's not in that world. Um, you know, and then when we were able to convince James on the project, then it kind of changed, and we went through a ton of meetings trying to shape it into something. Then eventually, you know, COVID happened and all that fell apart, and that's why instead we went and shot the last video store on the left by the cemetery, which was a horror host thing. It took the horror host element from the Cinemassacre thing, moved it over here, and I made the redhead into Mondo Connie. She was a demon valley girl, well, demon like kind of Daria-esque video store clerk in hell on a movie public access show in hell. And there was the VHS puppets, the video nasties, which I made these little gremlins out of videotapes. Well, Ben made them, but I designed them. We shot all the wraparound stuff. It was like a 13-hour day. And then I started collecting short films from friends of mine for this thing. And then that all stopped. That all fell apart. And then, so Tony and I started making, I think it was Amityville Movie Theater, because I still had access to the Anthony Wayne. So he and I were just going after work pretty much once a week to film scenes for this thing. And we finished almost an entire feature. Just the two of us with a couple extra people, but obviously that got deleted when I was no longer their friend and all that kind of stuff. But that would have been really funny too, and that would have been really interesting. And it was just going out and just, we had all the gear, we had the lights, we had the cameras, all that kind of stuff. Some of those Cinemassacre video store things weren't good. Yeah, I never saw. I never saw. The only one of James's shorts I ever saw was The Deader the Better. Oh, and you know what? I saw the second head incident before anybody else did, because while all that was going on, he and I were talking a lot during that period. It was like 2020, and we were going back and forth on a lot of film stuff. So I remember seeing that as it came together. Yeah, but and then I didn't really watch much of the show that they shot there. I just saw the ones where they mentioned me because I'm an egomaniac, and Justin always told me when they were gonna do that stuff. But yeah, we had a couple projects there, but it was easier because we had studio, we had lights, we had sound, we had cameras, we had all the shit that we needed, so we could go out and do that stuff. Like I don't have that right now, you know. But you know, it doesn't stop me from dreaming about it, you know. It sounded like a good thing. Yeah, and it was a fun idea. It was the idea that we had come up with was this filmmaker gets hired by not the Weinsteins to make the ultimate Amityville movie, and he goes insane. He vanishes into Amityville. He goes insane. These two dudes get access to this movie theater, and they find this box of tapes that he was kept making different Amityville movies. So every one was a different Amityville movie, and it was an anthology, and it was all the failed attempts, and it was because he's gone insane. He's possessed by something, and then we become possessed by it in the theater. And there was a really funny scene where the theater is telling us to kill each other, and he comes into the theater, and I'm already in there, and I have a machete, and he has a crowbar or something like that, and he's like, what's at the machete? And I was like, oh, it's for clearing brush, but I'm in a movie theater. You know, it was like little things like that. But that was a fun one. And then we had like a fight scene that we filmed, and then Melissa was behind the camera for that because we had to both be on camera for it. So Melissa had to be controlling the camera for it, and it took like forever to do it. So that was fun. That was a good one. You know, had I stuck around a couple months more and all this shit not happened, you know, we would have probably gotten that done, and we would have probably gotten the last video store done as well, because you know, I built the puppets. We painted crystal pink with the horns and everything. We had some really funny fucking gags where Ryan, not Ryan who owns Screamway, but Ryan Monster Kid Masks, I believe is his thing. He brought like all these cool Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman masks, stuff like that. So I wrote all these like very like, very like cheesy Pee-wee's Playhouse meets Elvira kind of gags for the inner, the host segments. And the whole idea was, the way I wrote it was that she just learned, the main character, the redhead, she just learns about the internet, and she wants to do her own version of an unboxing video, and that's grave robbing. And she gets an entire box of VHS tapes that were buried with this guy that are all possessed. Obviously, when that fell apart, that's how that became part of the Amityville thing. So I'm just recycling elements down. And yeah, no, that was a fun one, man. It was a lot of cool lighting in that we played with. So yeah, those could have been cool projects. Those could have been a lot of fun. But I carry over jokes from those because obviously they're my scripts. I've recycled some of the jokes from those things into other things. Plagiarize myself basically. I don't know. I want to again monsters, man. I want to do monsters, I want to bring Madeline back out, other. You're an idea machine. Yeah, it's easy. I was sitting in traffic the other day, and there was an Easter Bunny thing up, and I was like, oh, that'd be a cool idea, like it's called To Die For, DYE, and it's like a dude in like a Saw type situation who's being like hunted by like killer mall Easter bunnies. Or I had like an idea for a slasher killer who drives an ice cream truck, and his head is one of like, if you get one of those face ice cream bars where the face is always fucked up and dripping, that's what the killer's head is one of those. So it's like really uncanny and creepy. And as far as doing a found footage one, I'm writing a found footage script for a guy right now. Again, they gave me the elements that they have, and they gave me a story idea, and then recycling again. One of the things that they took out of the script for, I think the movie was Vi. It was some kind of Eastern European found footage movie that I had written the review for Madness, Monster Mania or Monster Madness, whatever James's thing was that I got fired for and became a joke. In that, there was a whole run I did in the script about the people who edit found footage. And then can't believe they looked down on you. Well, I can. Well, they had to look down on me. Everybody there was really tall, and I'm really short. But I had a whole run in that script about how crazy somebody would be who edits found footage for a living. And that was some of the shit that got taken out that left a big gap in the script that I had to fill with, unfortunately, copying and pasting someone else's stuff. That happened a couple times. I had another one in there where it was for the 28 Days Later one, oddly enough, which is why I was forced to use somebody else's talking about 2001. Was a whole thing about who the Mount Rushmore of British horror would be. And I just think about some of those elements that I put in other things. I was like, fuck, I should have just if I stopped trying to write like myself, I could have solved a lot of my own problems and not had to have then copied someone else's work that was not me, So yeah, so those little runs in those things I've used in other things, What was your final project at Vancouver Film School? It was what the fuck? What did we finally call it? It was Bloodbath. No, it was Nude Beach Bloodbath. Yeah, I was like Beach Blanket Bingo was something else. Yeah, Nude Beach Bloodbath. It was black and white, and it was like a '50s B movie that turned into a killer kind of creature from the haunted sea kind of thing. But then it got bloody. The effects were terrible. The girls did not have '50s bathing suits or hairstyles or anything like that. Some of the coloring, because I tried to do this before the Sin. I took it from the comic Sin City, because the movie hadn't come out yet. Ripped off the Sin City comics. I told my film professor that I was doing Schindler's List with it by it all being black and white, but having certain things being in color. but I wasn't quite good enough at it. So sometimes it really bleeds, or sometimes it doesn't always work the entire time. So the project was loose, very loose. The edges showed on it, but I tried to play that off in a very Tommy Wiseau aspect and saying like, well, no, that was my intention because a lot of those '50s movies were like that, you know. Not the case. I'm just not a very good filmmaker. Yo, what's going on, Stab? And hello in the UK to my friend across the pond. We were just talking about who the Mount Rushmore of British horror would be. Did I get a good grade on it? There was not a grade. It was more of a trial by fire. Um, Invisible Mom, yeah. Who Pushing Up Roses did that not too long ago. Um, but no, there wasn't a grade. It was a trial by fire. It was a jury of your own peers kind of thing, and people were kind of disgusted by it that it wasn't art. And I was like, yeah, I know it's not art. It's this is what I'm interested in, you know. I wish I know it is somewhere. I know it is on a VHS tape somewhere, and I need to find it, and I need to get it digitized and put it online. Um, I still have stuff in a storage unit that I've never dug through. I found a couple VHS tapes of like some of my old hockey shit that's here in my living room right now, but I know that project exists somewhere. What was your feedback on the project? That it wasn't art, that it was trash, that it was, I'm making a mockery of all these other people who had put a lot of hard work into telling these stories from a very personal place. I didn't think it was from a personal place. I thought it was a trying to get a good, trying to get a grade, trying to get sympathy, trying to be an auteur. I didn't want to be an auteur. I wanted to be Ed Wood. I wanted to be Russ Meyer. I wanted to be Roger Corman. I wanted to be Fred Olen Ray, and Jim Wynorski and David Dakota and Doris Wishman even, these are the people who I grew up admiring. These were the people who I wanted to be like, Yes, Corman, Fred Olen Ray. They're so well versed and spoken and well read and have deep philosophical ideas. But when it comes to what they're making commerce, they're making exploitation, they're making drive-in stuff, they're making things for the masses. And that is always what I wanted to do. Like, and granted, the market has changed so much the days of, all right, I could see that. That's a good one, Macabro. Um, but like, I don't know, it just, that wasn't where my headspace was. And I thought other people would be doing projects like, not like me, but like fun stuff too. Um, I definitely say that Danny Boyle and Christopher Nolan are yeah. I mean, well, has Nolan hasn't done horror though. Um, Boyle, yes. And like the shitty fucking thing is, 28 years later is gonna come out, and I can't review it. If I review it, it's just gonna open that wound back up. Christopher Lee has to be up there. Cushing has to be up there. I'd put like maybe an Ingrid Pitt. You could be up there, or Caroline Munro could be up there as well. Because it has to be like actors. It can't be because England, so many fucking amazing authors and directors and all that kind of stuff. But it has to be the Mount Rushmore of like faces that when you think British horror. So you definitely Lee and Cushing have to be up there. No, Swamp Zombies 2 is its own thing. Like again, you have to be in a certain mood to watch that. You have to be in a certain mood to watch Citizen Kane as well. Um, Guy Ritchie Swept Away. I've seen that one before. Oh, you're specifically talking about horror. Yeah, no, because it came to like, British auteurs. But yeah, just British actors. Because like when it comes to Kubrick's American, people always think that Kubrick is British, but Kubrick's from Brooklyn, I believe. Yeah, like, because, when it comes to, like, well, I guess, would you consider that, for British, Karloff, but I guess he'd be more known as, like, an American horror actor, because, like, on the American ones, like, you gotta put Lugosi up there, you gotta put, Karloff up there, they're, which your brain automatically goes to when you think of the Frankenstein monster, or you think of Dracula. This is much harder than I thought, because even if you went like horror monsters, you'd have to do two Mount Rushmores. You'd have to do the classic monsters, and you have to do the more modern monsters. You know, you'd have to, you can't have a Freddy and Jason, uh, and take away Lugosi and Uh, can you one more time extol on the virtues of Juana Man? Um, it's the WNBA version of Tootsie. It's got Miguel Nunez in it. No, like I said, I met a dude. It was his favorite fucking movie, man, and I had a lot of respect for him, and it was also kind of eye opening too. It's just like, yeah, like I'll tell people the kind of garbage. I fucking love Lady Terminator. I love Ghoulies. I love Son of Dracula. You tell people you love this stuff, and they look at you like you have three heads. But it's becoming more and more acceptable. In an age of the internet where you can look up these movies and just test it out. You can see them a lot easier than even in the VHS era. If your video store didn't have it, you're shit out of luck. Um, and I don't believe in guilty pleasures. I believe in whatever when it comes to media, at least. I'm not saying like you know, fuck children. Like, no, that's not the kind of thing I'm talking about. But like when it comes to like your media, like whatever movie you're into, whatever song you're into, like if you were a fucking metalhead and you told me you love Cisco's The Thong Song, I'd be like, good on you, man. Everybody needs something to fucking to get them through the day, to put a smile on their face. Oh man, fucking Dog Soldiers and The Descent are awesome. And Doomsday is awesome. And enough people don't talk about Doomsday. Doomsday is fucking great. Ever see Ladybugs? Yeah, remember the trailer? I got a lot of balls. With Jonathan Brandis. Yeah, man, I remember Ladybugs. I saw Ladybugs in the theater. But yeah, Dog Soldiers is incredible. The Descent is genuinely unnerving. I've never seen the second one though. And if you've never seen Doomsday, I really no Doomsday as in the it's basically it's Mad Max meets Escape from New York smashed together in one movie. It's fucking awesome. It's got the chick, the actress, sorry, from the prequel Underworld movies. She's basically like a Snake Plissken character, except her one eye is missing, and she can use it as like a fucking camera. Malcolm McDowell is in it. There's like there's clans of cannibals that fucking eat people after they were burned alive after a guy performs "Good Thing" by the Fine Young Cannibals on stage. Everybody's named after famous B movie directors. It's awesome. Fucking awesome if you've never seen it. Oh, okay. All right, you have seen it then. The chick with all the cool facial tattoos and stuff like that. Big Green is better. I agree with that. The 90s were like prime for like the Big Green, Little Giants, Rookie of the Year, the Mighty Ducks 1, 2, 3. There's a big like wealth of MVP, Most Valuable Primate. There's no rule saying a dog can't play basketball. Sandlot, yeah. That was all really good shit, man. It was like kids trying to figure out a way to get kids to go outside. Yeah, his Hellboy movie, I like David Harbour as Hellboy. He was fine. There were elements of it that I really liked. I loved the Arthur Legend stuff. I liked the Queen of Blood stuff, the Vampire Queen stuff. The CGI was not finished. The stuff at the end with the ectoplasm was really bad, really really bad. And Yeah, I don't know. But they included things like Lobster Johnson and all that kind of stuff that I never thought I would see. But I'm always going to be sad we never got a third. We never got a third Del Toro one. Innocent Blood's a good one too. Never go wrong with hot vampire chicks. Which is why one day when I get to make my fucking cast Patrick Renna, yeah, I wish. That's why the Ghouls script, which was originally called Only Fangs, and then the AP production guys, the guys who did Murder Size, they beat me to the title. But so I changed my title to Ghouls. But goddamn, man, I fucking wish I could have made that one. The movie Freaked. Movie Freaked was done by the dude. The art, obviously Alex Winters. but the guys who were doing a lot of stuff for him and those other guys were doing stuff for MTV Liquid Television at the time. So it has that 1990, early 90s kinetic punk rock claymation weirdo editing style MTV vibe to it. Great fucking cast. Keanu Reeves as the dog face boy. Brooke Shields, Mr. T. Great movie. One that for the longest time I thought that like I imagined. I didn't think that other people remembered it until we got to like an age of the internet where all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, no, I fucking love Freaked. And I was like, oh my God, me too. Like that's the internet's a horrible place. It's a wretched hive of scum and villainy. And it's caused me a lot of problems. But also there's times when you find out that there's other fucking weirdos like you out there in the world. And, you know, you get that one of us moment. And that's the shit that I love. I love to find out that this stuff that I thought, only I cared about, other people care about. Vincent Gallo is a crazy person. Brown Bunny's a solid movie. It was a Buffalo 66 as well. He wished that Roger Ebert would get cancer, and then he did. He had his girlfriend perform fellatio on him on camera for the end of Brown Bunny. Yeah, he's a weird dude. He's intense. But good on him, man. He's got his own filmmaking style. Not my style, but, somebody's. I think if I presented to one of my exes at the time, who was an actress, like, well, here's what I want you to do, they'd be like, no, I can't wait till you get fired for plagiarism. And then he made me wear a bikini. Yeah, so, no, yeah. How do you feel about the movie DC Cab? It's Joel Schumacher's first movie. He made an album. I vaguely remember that, but I don't think I've ever heard it. Yeah, DC Cab. All I really know about it, Mr. T's obviously in it, and Joel Schumacher. That's kind of all I remember from it. Let me see what you said there, Macabro. Sorry, I missed that. Does anyone feel both happy and kind of miffed that there were once people were looked down on for liking horror, and now horror is popular and everybody's into it? No, 100%. Same thing with comic books. Now it's currency. Now maybe not right. Not now, but like during the whole Thanos thing, knowing the Infinity Gauntlet saga, was like fucking currency at the movie theater. Like explaining to people who are like, I really like this, but what is this? Explaining it to them. I used to be obsessed. Like, I was a big comic book reader, but obviously, I didn't grow up in a family that had a lot of money, so it was kind of a luxury to get a couple comic books and stuff like that. So I was sort of limited on just how much I had, and I started collecting, so I had lots of stuff. But I used to get the Marvel cards and the DC cards that they used to do in the 90s. And you could read those and find out characters' whole backstory, what their weaknesses were, what their powers were, who they're affiliated with. And then some of those Marvel cards were like ultimate battles. So there would be like a full storyline, like summarized into the back of a card. So a lot of those facts stuck with me. And like then as you start to read more, now you have a frame of reference on who certain characters were and how things were connected. And it was like from that seed, everything kind of ballooned outwards from there. The old horror mags are cred now. The 40-year-old virgin lady repellent now. I still think a lot of people probably frown on, if I'm standing reading Fangoria or something like that. Do I have any Fangorias down here? Oh, I do actually. Let me see what I have here. At my feet right now, I have... Oh, so I'm mentioned in this issue of Fangoria. There's an interview with Protector 101, Jake Freeman. He doesn't really talk to me anymore. He's gone on to do stuff with Screenwave, but he did all my music for Midnight Show, and he mentions Midnight Show, and he mentions me in this issue. So this one is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life, because I grew up reading Fangoria, and to see your name in Fangoria was like one of the coolest fucking things ever. Cinema Fantastique about Ed Wood. Had that one. More, it was a couple years ago. Phantom of Paradise. Oh, here you go. Nightbreed. Fangoria issue number 4. Star Trek the Motion Picture. Grindhouse. And Total Recall. They're the only ones I have out for some reason, but I have like a solid stack of 80s ones from collecting. I like Drop Dead Fred. That's another one that I thought that people hated, you know? I love the one where Elvira is dressed as a mummy. I want to do that with an actress, but draped in film like a mummy. I thought that would be a really fucking cool thing to do. I have just so many fucking film magazines. Film books and film magazines. It's like so much shit. Oh, and then the British SFX magazine. These are British releases. These were really cool. These are from like 2005 because they're promoting Van Helsing in them. But I used to order these at the comic shop when I ran it because I would get the British release stuff, you know. Pretty cool. Unless the Wayans brothers do it. Oh, okay. Crap. So much crap that I've collected over the years. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I move, I throw a little bit of stuff away. And I'm like, I'm never going to need all this stuff. And then I get bummed out when I don't have it anymore. But, you know, I've read through these magazines so many fucking times. I know so much of it over and over again. Like I've said in a couple streams, I've like, you know, in an age before the internet, like this is how I learned everything there was to know. Like I've had this book about Mystery Science Theater since 1993, I think. 1995. I've had this one, and this is just a breakdown of every episode and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like this kind of stuff I would just read constantly over and over again. But yeah, I'm a film geek. If you haven't, I'm a genre film geek. If you haven't noticed it, and the idea of it being repellent to people, yeah, I've definitely introduced some people into my world, and then just be like, oh God. Do you like Tales from the Crypt, the '90s movies? Oh yeah, Demon Knight, man. Look, I have. Do I have it here? Yeah. This was the commemorative magazine that went with the movie. My buddy Kevin and I snuck into the 7 o'clock screening opening night at the Echo Multiplex, and they had a little table set up. And at the table they had these, and I bought one. It was put out by Fangoria, but it's the same thing. Like, you know, it has a breakdown on all the episodes and the history of it, and you should call and get yourself a Street Fighter 2 t-shirt right now, you know. But yeah, I love Tales from the Crypt. I had a bunch of reprints of the comics. They put a bunch of the reprints of the 50s ones out in the 80s, and I was able to get a bunch of the reprints like super cheap because I couldn't afford the originals, you know. You need to put out a diss track. Everyone else is doing it. I can't rap. I'm painfully white. I do a diss track every live stream. I spill a little tea, you know. Bordello Blood is hilarious. Yeah, it's a good one. Much better than Rituals. Bugs me and missing Volume 4, the old DVD of the Rhino. Yeah. What is the best freebie that ever came with a movie? There's also Room Morgan Horror Hound. Yep. I have a couple copies of each of those, like some stuff from like 2004, 5, 6. Best promotional. I love barf bags. I love the Witchfinder General and the zombie one, but the inflatable toilet for the video store with ghoulies is just so fucking cool. That's just so fucking rad. I wish I had one. Um, I think that's my favorite of all of them. Did you take any standees over the years? Yes, but I sold them. Everything I collected when I moved, I sold off to. You need to find me a Money Pit poster, and I'll. All right, I might have one. I will look and see if I have one. I have a whole bunch of '80s stuff that I got from uh, a lot sale, and I'll see if Money Pit is in there. If not, I know people who can find you one relatively cheap. Um, Yeah, it's a shame that From Dusk Till Dawn kind of found itself, um, you know, on video mostly, and everything from that point was direct to video. But Grindhouse, same thing. I would have loved if they made more of those. Like, how fucking cool would it be if every year we had different genre double features, you know? Did you watch MXC? No, I don't know what that is. Oh wait, that Japanese. Yes, Takashi Miike. Yes, I have seen that one. I'm like, wait, you got me blanking here. Yeah, I like his stuff. Um, I like that there is something smarter than just the extremity. It's not just shock for the sake of shock. I think when we did the which one did I do with Mets? Ichi the Killer. We did Ichi the Killer. Just in the review, it's kind of explaining that there is something beyond just the gore and all that kind of stuff that makes him an auteur. You know? Yeah. I haven't gotten a Fangoria in a long, long time. They did make two good, but they're out there. Yeah. The third one was The Hangman's Daughter. Second one wasn't bad. The second one had Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Bruce Campbell and Robert Patrick in it. Do you have Street Skates? I'd have to look. I was hoping that Rob Zombie would make She Wolves of the SS. It was a trailer that looked. Yeah, it's a shame too. Um, I would have loved to have seen that one get turned into a feature. Don't wouldn't work as a feature, but it's a great trailer because all the money shots are in it. And I thought that he did a really good job with Thanksgiving. Eli Roth did, and I'm excited they're going to make a sequel out of it. You know, just finished watching Unfrosted. Was it any good? I heard it's terrible. I heard nothing but bad things about it. Yeah, I had a couple of them. I was more of a Jesse Spano guy. Me too. I was more of a Jesse guy, but actually I met Tiffany Amber Thiessen once. She used to be married to the dude from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place that wasn't Ryan Reynolds. Um, and they were at this restaurant called Champs in Marlton, New Jersey, my hometown. I was in like seventh, eighth grade, and I turned the corner from the bathroom, and there she was. And people were around her and like taking pictures and getting autographs and stuff like that. And I didn't get a chance to like meet her, but like in person, she's fucking beautiful. So that was like my first like you turn a corner and go, oh my god, that's fucking the girl from Saved by the Bell, you know. Um, yeah, Fu Manchu, Nick Cage was great. Uh, I don't know. I'd love to see Rob Zombie kind of do, leave the Firefly stuff alone, like leave the IP stuff alone, and just go make weird shit. Make your own weird shit. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where we are. Today's just been a wild collection of random ideas and questions, and I'm like thinking back on the last 3 hours and just like, what the fuck did we talk about? Me bitching for a while. Eli Roth isn't doing much anymore. Yeah, he's got Borderland coming out this year, and he did Thanksgiving. So, oh god, if I could work with Nicolas Cage, I already know exactly what project I would work on. I've had this idea. It came from a dream. I had a dream that I bought a copy of that movie that Nicolas Cage made with Hayden Christensen, and inside of it was a golden ticket. And the next morning there was a knock on my door, and Nick Cage was there, and I had to go with Nick Cage and his entourage to run errands. But Nick Cage errands are like fighting inside a giant dinosaur against ninjas and robots, and there was like a beautiful Chinese ghost that was in love with him, but he wasn't in love with her, and all this kind of stuff. And then Nick Cage just drops me off at home, and that's what you get if you ever get the Nicolas Cage, if you ever get the Nicolas Cage golden ticket from one of his bargain bin movies. And to him, it's just like Raul Julia says, it was Wednesday. But to you, it's like, what the fuck? And this is every day for Nicolas Cage. So I would make that a movie, or a comic book. Yeah, but he's out of debt now, Newt Wallen live stream madness ensues. All of it's madness. It's just me rambling like a crazy person. I have to imagine anybody who's here to watch this, who doesn't like me is just like, this dude. He doesn't know how to stay out of his own way. Like, and that's fine. I get it. John Claude Van Damme meets Last Action Hero. Yeah, kind of like that, but just like, yeah, wild. I guess now it would have to be like Sydney Sweeney, right? She's kind of like the go-to girl. No, bring Pam Anderson back. She's gonna be in the. She's got a movie coming out that's an indie called The Last Showgirl, set in Vegas, and she's gonna be in the Naked Gun reboot too. So she's got like a whole career resurgence that started. But I would bring her back. I mean, Barbed Wire is just a sci-fi remake of Casablanca. It's very loosely based on the Dark Horse comics. Doing all right. How'd baseball go? Imagine being an imaginary friend with Nick Cage. That'd be good too. Your imaginary friend's Nick Cage, but he just kind of did that with in the Massive Talent movie, where his own imaginary friend is himself. Oh yeah, Sydney Sweeney is something else, man. I'm so glad that we're back into an age of celebrating beautiful, bountiful boobies. I've never stopped carrying the torch for them, but it's nice to see other people are coming around. Took a ball to the shin. That's no good. I miss baseball, man. I used to be a pretty good baseball player. I was on the high school team. Um, I was a right fielder. Oh yeah, she is. What are you doing out there? Yeah, I like her a lot. I totally forgot that she was in Ant-Man. I was like, oh yeah, that's the same girl. And because my friend SJ looks a lot like her. Have you ever seen Beach Babes from Beyond? Of course, that was a USA Up All Night kind of movie. Joined a men's league. All right, that's nice. I was doing that. I mean, probably 2012 was the last time I did it. But yeah, I tried to. I was playing sports all the way up until 2017. Once the Wayne became too much, and then I was working at Screenwave. I was gonna join a hockey league, but it was literally starting just as I got Bell's palsy, so I turned that down. She was in the. Oh yeah, she was in Paranormal Activity 4. Fuck, I forgot about that. What? You only want to be my friend when I'm doing stuff. Can you come up here? Come here. I know. You're the worst dad ever. I hate you. Oh, stop. Sydney Sweeney and Captain Newton. Oh, stop. I know. Oh, I know. You're the worst dad ever. Can you just sit here and pretend you like me for like 2 minutes, please? Here, go. All right, bye. She is. She's camera shy. Uh, Newton Metz, I'm living my best days. Somebody's got to be. A live action Stripperella. Yeah, I saw the new uh, the trailer finally the other day, before the Alien that was in theaters the other night. So that was pretty cool to see it on the big screen. Maxine looks awesome. I love the '80s aesthetic. I really like that it looks like a mixture of Psycho 2 and 3. So that's got a cool vibe to it. I love the use of Self Control by Laura Branigan in the trailer. There's got a very New York Ripper kind of vibe to it. Great cast as well. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And then using the Richard Ramirez as like the background thing, I think is a really cool concept as well. So hopefully this one's like really special because I like how each one has been very different. Because X kind of caught me off guard. So a proper Vampirella movie, not the terrible one with Roger Daltrey. Very misguided movie, very misguided movie. But Roger Daltrey was giving it his all, you know. My thoughts or hopes on Deadpool 3. I'm excited to see it. I was never a huge Deadpool guy, even in the comics. So I thought that the first movie was going to be like annoying trash, and it turned out to be pretty good. I enjoyed the second one. Not I think I feel like the first one more, but I just like the meta-ness of this new one, using the yellow and blue costume on Wolverine, and I think this is essentially really what Marvel and Disney need right now to kind of win people back. Is this thing that will play fast and loose with the rules and is not as constricted by the Disney-ness of it all. So hopefully this will win some people over. There are obviously some guys I know who are everything is woke, everything has everything is like that. So they said that the trailers are just showing this stuff. This one guy's take was that the trailers are showing all this stuff, but none of it's actually in the movie. It's to trick guys like him to go see the movie. And I was like, you really believe that? He's the same guy who said that the pink lightning or the pink things on Godzilla was because Godzilla is trans now. And I was like, how can one person have such terrible fucking takes on everything? He's also trying to tell me how woke the new X-Men '97 is, and how it's poorly written and poorly animated. Clearly, he's never seen the later seasons of the actual '90s X-Men series, and to just now realize that X-Men is woke. Where the fuck have you been since the 1960s, my guy? Like, I hope it's good. I'm excited to see what kind of what cameos they pull in and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to it. And I like Hugh Jackman. It must have been good enough to bring him out of retirement because the way that Logan ended was perfect. So I have high hopes for it. Yeah, because X-Men '97 has been fucking incredible, like absolutely incredible. And he's just like, yeah, I tried. And I was like, well, how far did you get into it? And he's like, oh no, like one episode. And I was like, you gotta stick with it. No, it's too woke for me, and poorly animated and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, like what the fuck, Magneto was right. 2 days before your birthday, it's coming out. All right, that'll be dope. Yeah, the Spider-Man cameo was great. The Captain America cameo. I think it's a Doom bot. I don't think it's actually the first time we get Doctor Doom in the series. And I actually think that the versions of these characters that in X-Men '97 are the versions of the characters that are going to be in Deadpool 3. That's just my take. Imagine Sallow, but as a Fairley Brothers comedy. Oh no. They did take away Thick Rogue, and that's something that he has raised as a point of contention. But I also asked him how old he was when that actual episode came out, and he said he wasn't born yet. So in my head, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. You know it because it's a meme. Shut up. But X-Men '97 has been awesome. It may be one of the best things that has ever been done in a medium other than comics for X-Men. And that's saying something, because there's been some great X-Men shit. There's also been a lot of fucking garbage X-Men shit, Yeah, okay, so somebody else agrees with me. I just feel like the way that they're using certain characters, and it's like Carmitage and stuff like that, I think that like certain drops to the Marvel universe are being done purposely. R.I.P. Rogue's Rump. They made Jubilee less Japanese. But they cast a woman of Asian descent though to play her. But then I love the episode where they have the older Jubilee, and it's the woman who was the original voice actor. So I thought that was really fucking cool. I don't know. This has hit all the notes for me so far. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I was skeptical going into it. You know, especially with what we've had with Marvel of late, and not in a woke way or anything like that. Just content quality control. And again, like the season 3 on animation for the X-Men 90s show was not good at all, and people seem to always forget that part. You know, what's going on in the streets? You don't hear yelling. No, it's cars in the train. I literally live right next to the train. So it's always something. And I opened the windows to get some fresh air in here when I got home from work because it was like super stuffy. So that's what you're hearing. And then earlier, if you're joined us a little bit later, the actually the lot of back to the original characters, the continuity is apparently mad accurate. Yeah, from the '90s series on. And there's constantly little drops, even in the opening credits sequences, to older episodes of the series. You know, and they brought Nightcrawler's my favorite X-Men character ever, and he's become a bigger part of it. Yeah, he could have had Madeline, and I keep telling my friend Madeline, I was going to call her my Madeline, she's not my Madeline, she's got a boyfriend, that she should be dressing as the Madeline from the X-Men, you know. Oh yeah, the Blade reboot, they're like, hey, we've decided we're going to make it about Blade killing vampires, and it's like, what were the last 20 drafts of the script about then, you know? So, yeah. I don't know. Now there's people yelling outside. But if you were joining us later, I stepped away for like 15 minutes because the police were knocking on my door. Um, a lady apparently across the street backed her car into a deli, which is across the street, and they asked me if my ring camera on my door reached that far. So I was down there talking to them for a while, and people in the comments were like, "What happened?" You know. Um, Look, see, I got on here. I had nothing else to do on a Friday night, and wound up talking to you guys for over 3 hours. So no, this dude is definitely a red pill guy, and I try to be very nice. I try not to alienate anybody who is a fan, even though he says he doesn't watch my content. I asked him, I was like, "Oh, well, did you see my reviews?" Like, "Yeah, I don't watch that," and I was like, "Oh, but I still have to be nice." But this dude has some of the worst takes ever, and I've just stopped arguing because you're never going to change those people's minds when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Everything is woke. Everything is, you know, and that's fine. But you're missing out on really cool shit when you are purposely looking for an anti-male, anti-straight agenda in everything. You know, Godzilla's not trans. You know, and if Godzilla wants to be trans, Godzilla can be trans. You know. Werewolf by Night was cool, and the way that Man Thing looked incredible. You know, we love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with you guys. You know, I miss doing these. You know, it's more fun when I have somebody to bounce off of, like Mets and I last week. But you know, you start no, because like some of his views and some of the memes that he sends me and stuff like that, I'm just like, stop. You know. Yeah, I don't like the critical drinker. I don't like any of these kind of guys who are looking for that. If it's there, fine. You don't have to like it, you know, and you can bring that up. But when you go looking for it, I don't know. That's just fucking weird, you know. There's so many other. You're missing out on cool shit if you just go looking for those kind of things, you know. And you're gonna find a way to twist the logic to meet your ideology. Do I like the movie Snatch? Yeah, of course. Um, Dog swallows a little squeaky toy. Yeah, no, I like Snatch. I'm a big fan of Snatch, actually. Yeah, it's a good one. Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, all those type of movies that came out around that time. Right? You don't care anymore? Oh, God. I only get messages when we're filming. Um, I end up liking everything. Well, it's like when you pick the movies that you go uh, when you pick the movies that you go see, like, with money being tighter, I will purposely not go out of my way to see um really bad shit, or like stuff that I'm on the fence about, because I would rather talk positively about things, like I've said before. But also, like, I don't want to waste my money. It's expensive to go to the movies when you have to pay for it. It's expensive to get food and drinks and stuff like that when you have to pay for it. So I'm more selective in things, and it's cool liking things. I liked Indiana Jones 5. I don't fucking care what you guys think. I liked it. I saw it twice. So it's yeah. I'm not a good movie reviewer at all. I wind up Dags. Yeah, Dags. Um, I don't know. I'm bad at this. That's my biggest thing. Is I watch other movie reviewers who are like good at it, and I go, well, should I try that? And I'm just like, no, it's just not for me. I'm just gonna hit record and talk. And that's why there's been no like crossover. We were getting big views before because people were watching to watch what a fucking clown I am. And then when they stopped being interested in that, they stopped watching. And then we got shadow banned. They stopped watching. So really, it's just you. There's like 600 people who I can count on to probably show up to watch something. Beyond that, it's like, I'm not a real movie reviewer. But I knew that when I was on the other show too. She got the new horror flick, Terror. Um, somebody was telling me that there was like no one in their screening tonight at like 6 o'clock. So, oh yeah, no, I heard about the Struckman thing, and then, yeah, but like he's getting like big producers involved with his movies and shit like that. Like if I ever got to do like a movie, I would still do reviews, and I would still be honest about it, because then there's no fucking truth in your art, man. Like, you got to put your money where your mouth is. Sometimes you got to even badmouth your friends' shit. That's all part of being part of a creative community. And again, nothing I do is creative. But like, if I was asked a question about somebody else's stuff, I would try to bring up something I like about it, but I would also try to, be honest too. Do I have a favorite actress? Yes, my favorite actress of all time is Sigourney Weaver. Absolute favorite. Warriors review was fun. He's kind of a jerk behind the scenes. Yeah, a friend of mine worked on that movie, and she did makeup, and she kind of said that he was very dismissive to people. So I've never met the guy. I've only seen a handful of his reviews. But again, there's not many movie reviewers whose stuff I will watch. Oh yeah, I hear Dan Snyder is suing people who made the Netflix documentary exposing him. Yeah, usually when shitty people get exposed for doing shitty things, that's the first thing they turn to, is trying to take legal action to try to stop the bleeding. That's so gross. I watched some of that documentary and I was like, I can't watch this. Like, as somebody personally who was sexually abused as a child, I can't, not triggering, but I can't do that stuff. Yeah. Warriors is an awesome movie, and it's an awesome review. It was fun to share that with Mets, who had never seen it before. And it gave me a kind of a chance to geek out over how much I fucking love that movie. And like I was talking about RoboCop earlier, I get that same wild-eyed passion when talking about the Warriors. So, yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna cut us short. 3 hours and 30 minutes is short. But I think I'm gonna go get some food. I heard the news about him being brought into Blumhouse to do The Exorcist. Yeah, I heard about that. Honestly, at this point, like, I'd love to see a female director do an Exorcist movie. I think that would be an interesting take. We only did the theatrical cut. I was thinking about doing the director's cut, but I was like, if it's the first time that Mets had ever seen it, I thought it would be a better idea to do the theatrical cut, because that's the one that most people know. But all movie concepts are trans. Everything ever is trans. When I told him, I was like, well, he was talking about Dracula or something like that, and I was like, well, Bram Stoker was bisexual, and he's like, no, he wasn't. He's like, look, tell me, prove it, and I was like, okay, like, but yeah, I'm gonna sign off, guys. I'm gonna go get some food, And I will chat with you all later. All right. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with me for the last 3.5 hours. And hit me up on every werewolf story is a trend. Yeah, very much so. Hit me up on social medias, guys. Social medias. I don't know. Again, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at movie reviewing. Good night, everybody.